Teach them. Always make sure the message reach them.
Live from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting around the world. You're watching the Teach Them YouTube show. Intellectual, yet stimulating. Fair, frank, and factual. This is Extra Class, streaming to the world and beyond.
You know, it's Teach Them, the #1 intellectual blogging panel on the YouTube channel.
Before I turn. Can I go first?
Good night, viewers. Let me know if you're seeing me clearly. Let me know if you're hearing me clearly. If you're seeing and hearing me clearly, welcome to another episode of Extra Class. Episode number 335. Big up on yourself. You understand what I say? Scotty, you blur out. Tell the people them good night.
Good night, guys. How are you doing? I hope everyone is in the best of health and you are joining us for an informative night.
Me there. Let me know if you don't hear me there. Well, it look like you don't see me, but let me know if you don't hear me in a real life. Yeah, so me there. Just talk about two things and go to my bed. You see me? You don't know if Scotty have nothing to talk about, but I don't know what heap of nothing I want to talk about. You see me? I put because I'm focus or what that's on there. So I need to really and truly sort out that still. You understand? Empress Rosie, Todd Stewart, Starlight, Zane,
Miss Joan,
B. Empress Joan, Mrs. Hibbert, all of the people that were in the building, Althea, Denise, Bernard, Amy has some new names and things.
Mrs. Hibbert said she's a new subscriber.
Good night, Miss Hibbert.
Welcome.
Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the family. Really and truly appreciate the support. Father Whittaker, all of them people there. Vanessa Trotman. Peeps, good night. We're there. How much COVID numbers today? How many check that I know?
I think 18 deaths.
18 deaths?
Yeah.
Enough that's same, you know. How many cases?
I don't remember.
Happy belated birthday, Kerry J. I think your birthday, you never tell me still, I never know. I see it someplace, so I even bother look for you. You understand? I think it was yesterday or the day before. Not sure. But irrespective, I'm certain you had fun. Happy belated birthday. And I hope you live to see many more. You understand? Me and her are supposed to be friends. She don't tell me when she born. So just leave her alone. You understand? Auntie. And you're sitting there. We have spoken many times about the COVID situation.
Too many times.
We know that it reached a stage of a pandemic very early out and things. And we have spoken about the depression that accompanies it.
With it. The isolation.
Teach them, I tell you. I never remember then. My apologies. We have talked about the fact that suicide has increased in some places.
Domestic abuse.
And I remember distinctly a conversation we had one night while we were streaming saying that I bet you any money that when school reopens face to face, the number of reports of sexual abuse will skyrocket. Because unfortunately, many of the children who are home since schools were closed have been abused physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually. And I came across an article that kind of speaks the same. It speaks about the sexual pandemic. And one of the numbers before we go on. See how I look for them. Should have your computer desk so you can search for them things, you know. I'm going to drop them on the screen same time. We can't do all of that, you know. I mean, if we start doing things that we can do. Yeah, man, that's how the thing goes. So, predators striking under the cloak of COVID-19. Nearly 4 in 10 Jamaicans aged between 18 and 30 have been sexually assaulted. Hold on, let me read that again. Nearly 4 in 10 Jamaicans aged 18 to 30 have been sexually assaulted while complying with official stay-at-home orders imposed to prevent the spread of COVID-19 over the past 19 months. That is according to a survey conducted by researchers at the Northern Caribbean University. The researchers say staying at home to protect themselves from exposure to the deadly effects of the novel coronavirus is proving to be disastrous for many young Jamaicans who have become victims of sexual predators, including blood relatives, in a place considered to be safe. According to the researchers, 506 young adults across Jamaica were surveyed, providing an empirical basis for the concerns of advocacy groups that the nation's youth have been abused during the home confinement brought on by the pandemic since March 2020. The survey was conducted June to August this year with a 4.5% margin of error. Okay. The NCU study, an inquiry into sexual assault among young Jamaicans, found that more females, 43.6%, than males, 15.4%, were sexually assaulted. The majority of the cases occurred at home, 13.8%, followed by at school. At school?
Hold on.
In a COVID time, At probably because they have training for different extracurricular activities, you know. Like, I guess, like quiz and some sports and then something, you know. Because I read an article the other day where a young lady was being barred from doing her exams because there was some coaching camp, training camp, and apparently somebody there saw the young lady in a classroom with a coach. And the police were called in, the parents were called in, and they were trying to take their child's phone to search it, and some more little things happened. So the mother said that she must have to pay almost $80,000 to try to get her into her next school, and some money was something right. So, I don't know. So I could continue. And in a vehicle, 4.2%. So like, you know, they will move from point A to point B. A disturbing result of the NCU study is that most of the sexual assault is carried out by persons who the victim knows. But that is generally the case, isn't it? These include friend or family friend, which accounts for 38.5%, that is very high. Followed by a family member, excluding father or stepfather, 25.6%, so that would be uncle, brother, cousin.
All of them.
And father, stepfather, 4.5%. I think that would them be higher.
Should have been lower.
Yeah, which is true, but considering some of the cases that we have heard. A stranger represents 14.7%, that height, you know, of the perpetrators, followed by taxi operators, 4.5%, said the researchers. So father, stepfather, and taxi operator, 4.5%. The NCU study further found that 46% of sexually assaulted individuals indicated that they had been threatened following the sexual encounter. 31.6% were physically assaulted, and 52% informed someone of the sexual encounter. However, the study found that a significant majority of the sexually abused individuals do not report the case. 95%. Reacting to these findings, lead researcher Paul Bourne noted that social isolation and lockdown have created a sexual pandemic, as young Jamaicans have become target for sexual predators in their homes. The reality is sexual assaults are occurring in an environment where victims are presumed to feel safe, and these cases are likely to go unreported. So policymakers therefore need to implement measures to address a pending public health crisis that may include sexually transmitted infections, post-traumatic stress disorders, and unwanted pregnancy. As the article said, that I remember recently, Junior Education Minister Robert Nesta Morgan announced that there was some hotline, right?
There's a hotline now to call.
And apparently there have been a number of calls since its implementation.
Yeah, man, I saw that.
Father Whitaker, thanks for the contribution, and brother. I appreciate the support. You know what I mean? I'm not even seeing it pop up in this. See that.
Yeah, man, it was
Until,
two of them, anonymous.
Yeah? Okay. Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, I saw the thing that Nesta was speaking about, the new hotline to report child abuse.
95% don't report it to the sis.
95% not talk.
And as we say, when school open back face to face, you know, you gotta learn some more, you know. Because the youth, them go their own their friend again and their own guidance counselor. And
feel comfortable enough to talk about it.
Why? Everywhere you turn Macadrick, you.
Literally.
Oh, yeah. So we have a health pandemic, a sexual pandemic, a mental health pandemic, a suicide pandemic.
We would have had conversation and said the spin-off from COVID
will be
far-reaching and
generations.
long-living. Far-reaching and long-living.
The loss in the education loss.
Oh Lord, that not kicking it.
Start, man.
Many things are kicking it. You hold on a little bit for this.
Said that way. But what to do though? Like, apart from appeal to people to leave, the pitting them alone.
Your best you can protect our youth.
And it's not only children still, but young adults. Boy. But the thing is, you know, sister, then you know, you're supposed to save,
you should be safe at home.
Father and stepfather.
Cousin,
uncle, brother.
You see, especially the uncle setting.
It's a popular settings.
The uncle setting seems to be a more popular settings.
Zigzag, go on.
Yeah. And the friend of the family.
Family friend.
The family friend was a popular setting. You know, growing up, I don't recall any male family friend way come here like that. If you come here at a veranda, you'll sit down. Grandma Paulina.
I know, Grandma Paulina chop them.
Grandma Paulina make you come in, but at a veranda, you'll sit down.
Grandma Paulina tall on them.
Yeah, man, veranda, you now come no further than that. So at a veranda and Grandma Paulina, and as children, you know, we run a back.
Because children to be children, stay around so.
Yeah, man. You don't have a family friend that come cozy up your man?
Grandma Pauline might sit up a long time.
Don't recall that.
You know, we normally talk about names, you see? You know, you hear names like Shatter and Killy and Kill Quick and Murder and then name. Them man normally end up a prisoner and dead. But I kind of notice that thing about a particular name. Short Boss. I can tell you about 10 cases that I've covered involving somebody who was the alias Short Boss. I mean, I try to wonder if them a try live up.
Them a try get down.
Right.
Maybe.
And get themselves in a problem.
Possibly.
So it's something about that name there. So I think it's because, you know, Short, some people kind of find it a little inferiority complex tonight. So them a try.
Napoleon complex. I try get down. No, it's not a calling stream tonight, Mr. Cage or Miss Cage. Short
Boss arrested and charged for a shooting and gun possession. Then by brother where the rush the police up at Spalding and Short Boss in name, you know. You know that story there? Them put the bus on the record.
Oh, yeah.
And the policeman wet him. 22-year-old Martin Coley, otherwise called Short Boss, of Mandela Terrace in Kingston 11 was arrested and charged with shooting with intent and illegal possession of firearm and ammunition following an incident in his community on Monday, September 27. The incident was reported to the police and following investigation, Cole was arrested for the offences on Monday, October 18 and was charged on Friday, October 22nd. The reports from the West Bay police are that about 9:30 p.m. a woman was among a group of persons when she was pounced upon by a Coley who opened gunfire at her. She ran and escaped unhurt. His court date is being finalized. Short Boss.
You know what just flashed in my mind though? I think already that they're actually considering open the sexual offenders registry.
Me see something.
You see?
Yeah man, me see something.
Yeah. That would be a good
I think Robert did that talk about it again too. If because it's there, you know.
Yeah, no, we have
it's just access publicly.
But why wouldn't it be though?
I couldn't tell you, know. I don't know. I suppose them probably have planned to do it, but at a later date.
When we did?
I don't know. But that's as seven as I try to rationalize. Sometimes you try to rationalize them foolishness and you wonder.
That is true, because sometimes you have to
try
to
then
see.
Why
you have to try to see around the wall for them.
Guns and ammo seized as cops carry out raids in St. Andrew South. So the St. Andrew South police say they have stepped up their operations to clamp down on criminals wreaking havoc in the division with their least well, with their latest set of raids reaping success. Now, head of operations in the division, Superintendent Damian Mandeville. Oh, alright, so Mandeville now, we get a little backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Mandeville is now head of, which I just say, St. Andrew South. Mandeville was once in charge of the Olaba police station. As a matter of fact, Mandeville was the police leading the team in that now famous altercation with Warmington. So he was reassigned.
You know, I think
when I spoke to somebody within the JCF about his reassignment, the rationale was that it was some sort of a promotion.
I saw that in the media.
Because he's now heading St. Andrew South versus just heading the Olaba police station. He's also, based on the info that I got, is seen as a very, very bright potential individual in terms of in future and progression through the JCF. So I just think some of them share the backstory. They are something you want to say.
No, but I want to say.
So,
get promoted.
Well, that is what him get. You know, he might run off one whole division. But you still have to ask some questions.
Such as?
Was that relocation any at all in line with
what
the altercation with the member of parliament?
I don't know. Seem a little bit, the time frame seem a little bit convenient. That's what you said?
Yes, and as I said, I was very concerned when I saw it. So I asked some questions. And we just tell you what the responses were to the questions.
I think he just got promoted.
You think so?
Yes. Why not? As long as we have one thing say unicorn exists. Get promoted.
Unicorn exists, man.
We find them funny.
Very funny.
They keep me entertained.
We read some things sometimes.
Good evening, DS.
Right here, this is a chair, I'm sitting and reading, you know. Allah. Yeah, so we could continue, you know. So head of operations in the division, Superintendent Damian Mandeville, said in the past 2 days, 2 firearms and several rolls of ammunition were seized. But the first operation took place on Thursday when a joint police military team cordoned and search and targeted raid operation was conducted in the 2 miles area. The police said one 9mm pistol with serial numbers erased and 12 9mm rounds with 1 magazine were recovered from Bowens Road, Kingston 13, and no one was arrested. Police said the other raid was carried out on Friday, October 22nd. The article is a little bit old still. This was supposed to be our stream from Sunday night. Right, and that's why it's still there. Yeah, sir. We end up stream Monday because His Excellency was involved in an accident. October 22nd between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. within the zone of special operations in Greenwich Town and at 49th Street. Where road name? 49th Street. Where 1 Eklund Koch 9mm pistol, one magazine containing 6 9mm rounds and 6 AK-47 rounds were recovered. One man in whose waistband the firearm was found was arrested and tried. I lie. It's a firearm. Me and Morgan is a geography man like me. No, me and Morgan is a soldier. I am a trained geography teacher. Yes, sir.
I wonder what else would be here.
We don't know of that. Yes, and trained in geography and social studies and trained in geography and environmental studies.
I wonder what else you guys have in common.
I don't know that him is a geo man. You understand? Bad things that joke, you know.
You have to, sir.
Sentencing of ex-cop convicted of killing entertainer delayed until November 12th. So O'Shane Thompson, the ex-policeman convicted last month of murdering upcoming St. Mary dancehall entertainer Instaboss, will have to wait until November 12th to know his fate. He was charged a year after the fatal shooting of the entertainer, whose real name is Kristen Pearson, at a party in Trinityville, St. Mary in May of 2017. Oh, in first degree. Me know say him have a degree though, he never say a what. You understand?
In a geography.
Bachelor of Science.
Into geography.
Okay, well, him is a soldier, me is a teacher, you understand? So, okay. As me did I tell you, say, look like him fairly qualified for choose still, and me look on him thing.
Qualified for a lot of things, including retirement.
The sentencing of the former police constable began on Friday in the Home Circuit Court, with the social inquiry and antecedent reports being heard by presiding Judge Justice Caroline Ty Powell. Thompson's attorney also spoke during the proceedings by making submissions that could assist the judge in arriving at an appropriate sentence for his client. Consequently, another sentencing date was set and the convict remanded. Pearson was a resident of Charlestown in St. Mary and Exchange in Ontario, St. Anne, at the time of his death. Two places them name on Charlestown not so much, but yeah. During its probe, the Independent Commission of Investigations, INDICOM, said it was reported that the deceased and the former police officer had an altercation which resulted in the shooting incident. Thompson was a suspect in the incident and had been interviewed under caution by INDICOM. Shortly after, according to INDICOM, he resigned from the police force and left the island for the United States. Thompson was arrested by JDF officials on Thursday, October 30, 2018, upon his deportation to Jamaica. He was subsequently charged following a ruling from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. And the judge-only trial began in July this year in the St. Mary Circuit Court, and the verdict was handed down in the Home Circuit Court in Kingston on Friday, September 24th. How it start this and done this? Strange. Auntie. Okay, it's a G-man for children, Kingston. It's a G-man, Yeah, man, he improve, so it's a G-man. Two prisoners missing from Montego Bay Freeport lockup. I tell you, say you can't exist where now.
Houdini trick them.
Eh?
It's a Houdini settings missing.
Two prisoners have gone missing from the Montego Bay Freeport police station in St. James. So I have two articles, I'm going to read both of them. Mm-hmm. One of the escapees was in custody on 6 counts of murder. Police sources say the prisoners were discovered missing between 5:30 a.m. and 6 a.m. on the day in question. The discovery was then made as prisoners were being tallied for their morning showers. A thorough search revealed no physical breakout, police sources say. It would seem as if they were released by someone, a highly placed police source said. Now, a major probe into the disappearance is on the way. And this wasn't a prison break.
Read the next article.
May I do that?
Prison let out.
A break there.
It's a let out. Somebody said the gate flying.
Yeah. Jaja. Mystery disappearance. History disappearance. 2 prisoners vanish. Poof. From the Mobile police lockup. Mobile is a strange place, you know.
Very.
I want to go on down there.
I don't know.
I wonder if them have some volcanic vent somewhere. I let out some gases, some fumes, some sulfur, and some different gas, carbon monoxide, and some certain kind of. I don't even know. Mobile is strange. Who in there from Mobile? Declare yourself. We'll look at it with caution. And the people that will come, Scotty, give me a late book then.
And then book you need to look at things because
I book what? Late book. Yeah, man, the late people that I want to send on,
late
man.
fee, man.
Remember the $200 can't serve food on a Jing Bang family in there. So.
And it can't be the one. That job though. So come on.
Yeah. Jaja. Ashlyn, boy, Empress Ash, I want to go down that side there. He said, oh yeah. Move carry, but you're coming from over here. It's like a pop dog. Yeah. What's your name again?
Who?
woman who passed so she that she fired, man. You know where she did? Miss Norma something she named, man.
No, to church. Some new man, you're fine. All that funny, you know. First ask me that, I say yes.
No, but you see, that me I try. What me tell you since now? Say Jamaicans will have this skin teeth mentality. No matter who the person is, as long as they can make with skin with teeth, with arms and gloves them up, man. Because we don't take nothing serious, you know. At that pastor, you go strict them and some other things.
But, sir, fine with joke, we laugh for serious things. But, sir, we couldn't laugh at all of them. After a while, it didn't get to me. Or it didn't get to me quickly. That pastor could not in a church and not talk there's something that I feel comfortable.
I tell you I'm running past a long time, you know.
I don't feel comfortable at all. I tell the ladies, our face favor.
When pum vex with
all that. So, who have cobweb?
Cobweb in some man full of cobweb and all the spider dead.
All of this.
There's a lot of cobweb that they don't call spider like cobweb, you know.
I choose some back in teeth and cover heartburn.
You know, cover cut throat though.
No.
The police high command has launched a top-level probe to determine how 2 prisoners went missing from the Freeport, man. It's a Freeport. Tell us these names, you know. Freeport police station in Montego Bay, St. James, last Saturday. It would seem as if they were released by someone. According to the cop, the prisoners were discovered missing between 5:30 and 6 a.m. Saturday morning. Well, I say 6 a.m. morning. The discovery was made as prisoners were, them a bathing time and thing, and the search said no breakout. No, see, man, they walk through.
Between 5:30 and 6?
Yes. I wonder if they did pathways.
No, sir.
One of the escapees was in, I'm sorry for that. No, efforts to contact Senior Superintendent of Police Vernon Ellis, Divisional Commander for St. James and Area 1 Commander, Assistant Commissioner of Police Clifford Chambers were unsuccessful. However, on Saturday night, head of the Jamaica Constabulary Force Corporate Communications Unit Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay confirmed the incident but told reporters that she was not in a position to speak on the matter. You're not saying? Eh? Oh, as she had not been briefed. The atmosphere was glum at the Freeport police station. When something like this happens, it affects everybody. Not only those who were on duty. But suppose when the police are made up on duty all the night.
I don't want them on duty that night.
But you don't know say they're up on duty.
I hope I don't fall upon them duty.
You can imagine?
Yeah, because
first everybody is suspect, you know.
Everybody I get look at. Because you did it when it happened, don't you?
But
and look, it sounds really bad because it is sounding as if they were let out. Who could have let them?
What do you mean it sound like? Unless they got their own key.
I mean, I think they do that.
You would never know. Stranger things are happening in this country. When things like this happens, it affects everybody. Not only those who are on duty. Because it could happen to any one of us. Because I am just coming on duty. So I don't know, a sub-officer on duty said. What I can tell you is that the policeman can be at work today and something like this happens and you are on interdiction or suspension tomorrow just by being there. So, if everybody that's on duty, if you look upon, brother.
Everybody, if it go, I go get scrutinized. So it's a case that you're guilty till you're innocent. Just tell him. just tell him. You're guilty till you're innocent.
You can imagine that? One man and the man 6 counts of murder, you know, brother?
Poof, disappear.
10 years.
Just like that.
How much, sir?
I don't know.
Search on for suspects linked to killing a 5-year-old girl in Duhaney Park.
Oh, they shooting.
So police have launched a search for 2 men identified as suspects linked to the death of a 5-year-old in Duhaney Park, St. Andrew.
That was
Reports are that about 1 a.m. on October 7th, the child, Denique Salmon, was at home sleeping when she was hit by a stray bullet as gunmen traded gunfire in the streets of the community. Police say the two suspects have been identified as Theodore Beera, OC Theo, a 30-year-old bus conductor of the Haney Terrace, Kingston 20, and Anthoniel Reynolds, OC Son, 29-year-old of Marlborough in New Haven. And police said Beera is slim built, brown complexion, about 5 feet 9 inches, sports a plaited hairstyle with Reynolds. Well, Reynolds is also slim built, bleach brown complexion, low cut hairstyle, and walks with a limp.
Bleach brown.
Man, bleach brown. Jaja. So, Tesha Miller, who is an alleged leader of the Klansman gang or one faction of same, is currently serving a sentence, while Andre Blackman Bryan, the alleged leader of another faction, is currently in front of the courts. So it has been all about Klansman for a while. However, Biggs from one other gang held in Ellerslie Gardens. A man known as Biggs, who is reputed to be the leader of the Spanish Town-based One Order gang, is now in police custody. He was arrested Tuesday evening during a police military operation in Ellerslie Gardens, St. Catherine. Since last week, the security forces have been conducting operations in search of gang members and illegal guns in Spanish Town, and the suspect was being sought for questioning in relation to gun-related offences and other serious crimes in Spanish Town. I not even did realize that One Order still active like that.
It's been a while.
Because all I hear about is clans.
I guess that just overshadowed the media.
But the truth is, I think in terms of being a popular name, clans have always been a more notorious name than One Order, for whatever reason. Yeah, man. Whilst when them did really at each other, you see clans and One Order, but in terms of
activity from one.
Right. Okay. And longevity, so to speak, as strange as that so, clans kinda a whole other. Former pastor convicted of raping 2 teen girls in US faces deportation to Jamaica.
What am I going to do here?
The man Jamaican.
How long in gone?
Let me know. Let me tell you now. I'm going to read it. A former New York minister has pleaded guilty to raping 2 teenage girls, one of whom belonged to his congregation. Prosecutor says Reverend Michael Clare was convicted of rape on Wednesday. Under the terms of the plea deal, he will be sentenced to 5 years in prison and will register as a sex offender. Clare is from Jamaica and faces deportation. He was a pastor of the Harvest Worship Center International in the Bronx. He admitted performing the acts with a 13-year-old girl in 2007 at his home and with a 14-year-old girl later. Okay, I'm thinking. Bronx District Attorney Robert Johnson says in a statement the victims' wishes were considered for the plea deal. Okay, so them soon send him come here. Apparently.
We don't have no space. Full.
To the brim?
We're full and I run over. We don't have no space with you.
Then me I tell you what they say. And I mean.
Pastor do it 2 different times too. So you can't ever say a mistake.
Well, me tell him I know there's a thing with the pastor then, brother. Whilst we got debate as to the fact that the age of consent is 16. You know, some people not to love that. You understand? But the pastor them, when me kind of get fit, observe. Most of the pastor them, from you reach 15 years and 11 months old, 29 days, they're not interested in that.
Oh, they don't want you there, sir?
You know, look so, because I be a 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 9-year-old, them name always depend, brother. So I don't know what I'm to them. Young brother, but
only 5 years, master?
I can't plead guilty, look like he can get reduction. Something in there.
Real McCoy say Uncle Sam said him come up my next church. Alright, so.
Teacher released from hospital after surviving slit throat. Be a good truth, this is a going more than.
Oh, the one that they
A primary school teacher was left for dead after she was abducted and her throat slashed. Has been released from the hospital, police reveal. The teacher, who works at a primary school in St. Elizabeth, was discharged recently and is recuperating, police said.
Good.
Michael Smith, the assistant commissioner in charge of the Area 3 police, said that investigators have not identified any suspects in connection with the incident. Investigations are still ongoing, said ACP Smith, who has jurisdiction for the parishes of St. Elizabeth, Manchester, and Clarendon. Police reported that shortly after 4 p.m., the teacher just exited a business establishment in Santa Cruz when she was accosted by two men who were in a Toyota Probox motor car. The men abducted the teacher, drove with her to another community about 2 miles away, slashed her throat, threw her out of the vehicle, and left her for dead. Sounds very personal. She was found by residents who rushed her to hospital and contacted the police. Give thanks to them residents, you know. I appreciate you. But that's all.
She wasn't robbed.
Apparently she wasn't raped.
And she wasn't molested.
Right.
So.
Sounds very personal.
Why then?
I guess the police are trying to find out. But she not identified none of the people. And she don't want to talk.
Can be enough too.
Yeah, she can still fearful enough.
Yeah, you just said 95% of some of the victims don't report it.
No, I'm not talking about the rape.
No, man, I am saying that in line with that, she might know and be afraid to say.
I love it.
Can't love that.
Convicts in Clarendon quadruple murder gets life sentences. Must serve 20 years before parole. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something about Clarendon something here. You see, the situation really is excellency being transferred from Mobile. The people them for that case were transferred from Clarendon as well. Two? Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Like our beaches still transfer.
But remember we established that transfers
but some people
take
can't
place.
understand that in their brain.
We established that transfers take place from time to time.
Depending on the situation.
Mm-hmm.
2 men who were among a group of armed thugs who executed 4 people in Clarendon last month. This was very quick.
That's why I missed the last one.
Will each have to serve at least 20 years in prison. Andre Bennett and Oral Richards each pleaded guilty to 4 counts of murder and illegal possession of firearm in the Home Circuit Court yesterday. This plea guilty is something you see.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Both men were armed with guns, but did not fire their weapons just after midnight on September 12 when 2 sisters, their nephew, and one of the woman's common law partner were shot execution style in Havana Heights. So they weren't there.
They weren't the trigger person?
Apparently.
Okay. And then get 20 years before parole?
And then plead guilty.
And then plead guilty.
But then they plead guilty. Straight life. I'm sure we know. So Richards was sentenced to life in prison for each murder and ordered to serve 20 years before he's eligible for parole. He was also sentenced to 20 years in prison for illegal possession of firearm. A good sentence that for firearm. But you know them are going to run consecutively. Richards has a previous conviction for illegal possession of firearm. Oh, he's a gunsmith.
And the first time I play with gun.
The sentences are to run at the same time. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Bennett was sentenced to 20 years in prison at hard labor for each murder and 10 years for illegal possession of firearm. He too will serve the sentences simultaneously. That was resolved very quickly. So what the rest of them on them there now?
I mean, say, call like them not talk.
They're not shut them out, they look like.
Okay.
Just take them guilty plea and cut.
Work with it.
Mandeville man battling for life after gun attack. A man is now in critical condition in hospital after being shot multiple times in the district of Mandeville, St. Andrew on Sunday evening. Police report that the 18-year-old man was walking along the main road in the district when people traveling in a Toyota Mark X motor car stopped the vehicle beside him. Mark X and get at. A man exited the vehicle and engaged the victim in conversation. Minutes later, the man pulled out a handgun and opened fire, hitting the victim in the upper body. The gunman then returned, re-entered the vehicle and made his escape with his cronies. The injured man was taken to hospital and is being treated. And the district of Mandeville is situated close to the communities of Stony Hill and Belgrade Heights in St. Andrew North Police Division and lends its name to Mandeville Road, which begins at Mary Brown's corner and ends in the hilly community. I know that road all too well. The community has been relatively peaceful for years, and the police in the area are investigating the isolated shooting incident. Much murdered in Grangeville. One man is dead and another injured after a gun attack in the once peaceful rural district of Grangeville in Westmoreland on Tuesday afternoon. Well, Grangeville have not been peaceful for a long time. The dead man has been identified as 24-year-old Gregory Gordon, also known as Much. Yo, Much. That's strange, yeah. Of Buckner Lane in Sterling, Grangeville. So the Westmoreland police report that Gordon was at a premises in the community when gunmen accosted him and opened fire, hitting him several times. He died on the spot. Detectives are probing the matter, and Grangeville is a farming community nestled in the sugarcane belt close to the Froome Sugar Estate. It was once known as a rustic community that only offered domestic disputes and predial larceny as the major headaches for law enforcement. But in recent years, the community has experienced a significant spiral in gun-related crimes and murder. On April 20 this year, 3 men, Chriselle Hudson, also called Enoch, a 35-year-old carpenter of Crowder, pronounce that right, and Grangeville, Dwayne Christopher Scott, also called Rubbish Sheep, a 20-year-old.
Who could have called me that?
You're Rubbish Sheep.
Nah, answer.
I remember when the news broke and we talked about it in our stream. Rubbish Sheep, man, name, brother.
How you call it?
Let me tell you about the man name.
Go here for go here, man.
Rubbish Sheep.
Oh, Rubbish Sheep. And me answer you. Could that why? All when I sleep, me used to sleep with a Rubbish Sheep. You still can't call me no damn Rubbish Sheep. You know. I remember there. Oh, Rubbish Sheep. See how me don't give you that. Rubbish Sheep.
Yo, Rubbish Sheep, walk on.
Where? Call me sitting else. Rubbish Sheep.
And the dog that's loving him, you know?
I mean, I feel him.
Take bad things. People don't mean to laugh, you know? You have to laugh.
Rubbish Sheep. See, Rubbish Sheep, don't you know that come?
Dwayne Christopher Scott, also called Rubbish Sheep, a 20-year-old labourer, and Akeem Bent, alias Red Bull, a 28-year-old Tyler of Burn Savannah, were shot and killed after a group of gunmen corralled them in the district. The places like Whitthorne in a Westmoreland, Rough said with Grangeville be a problem. No? Yeah, sir.
See now you come to school yet? But me I collect your late fee and $200 can't do.
Man them call man Rubbish Sheep star. 25-year-old man killed during gun battle between cops and gunmen in St. Thomas. Some man was fatally shot on Wednesday during a confrontation between members of the JDF and the gunmen in Seaford, St. Thomas. Dead is 25. Yeah, age I man them. Dead is 25-year-old Dwayne Gordon, also from Seaford in the parish. So preliminary reports suggest that sometime after 12 p.m. a group of men allegedly opened gunfire at the police, who took evasive action and returned the fire. Now, during the crossfire, Gordon was reportedly hit. He was assisted to hospital where he was pronounced dead. It is not immediately clear whether Gordon was among the group of gunmen who had allegedly engaged the police in the shootout. And you know, in the come, run come. You know anything, though? Man, Rubbish Sheep. So if you call some more politician, them.
Rubbish Sheep?
Yeah, man.
Get a bit joke.
Mason killed in gun attack at Shab in Bulway. And this is the reason why I make sure I do them so, because we have been so engrossed first with the whole rape situation surrounding Tanya and Lynn, and then between that you had the Klansman child, and then came Pathways International. So those 3 stories have been so polarizing that everything else has been overshadowed. While people still are dead about it, day in, day out. You understand? Jaja. Police are probing a gun attack at a shop in 11 miles Bull Bay in St. Thomas on Tuesday, which resulted in the death of a man. He has been identified as 58-year-old Mason Fitzroy Burke of the community. Now, reports are that Burke and other patrons were at a shop when gunmen entered and opened fire sometime after 8 on Tuesday. When the shooting subsided, Burke was seen with multiple gunshot wounds. He was later assisted to hospital where he was pronounced dead.
Rosie B, you're very correct. We're going to run out of prospective partners at the rate these men are going.
No, man, the ratio still big.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just see that plan on me.
No, lie me and tell. A far more woman, I wrong side, me look at the ratio.
I'm a woman, that man.
I never process that one.
And the man, them are dead and I'm going to press up.
Mm-hmm. Well, the man, they told some of them.
Me don't want another one day.
What did I tell you?
Me don't want another one day, it's alright.
No court needed.
Me don't want another one day, sir.
Be free. Good night, Miss Evelyn. How are you? Firearms seized after police chase in Mandeville. 3 gunmen escape. 4th man arrested. Why I'm sad? Like a Hellshire Beach.
You need to talk with next street.
4 of them, there'll be a lick me in the fire and he help and he knee and he knock with them and he nose bridge and him.
4 of them are in a book.
And look up piece of metal. Where your bridge in there? What they need? Both the fire. You see the lip crap. Painful your fart. 3 gunmen managed to elude the police following a chase in Mandeville, which also resulted in a firearm being seized Wednesday afternoon. Head of the Manchester Police Superintendent Lloyd Darby said that the men were aboard a white motorcar travelling near the New Green roundabout in a manner that aroused suspicion when they saw the police. Darby said a patrol team saw the vehicle at the roundabout sometime after 3 p.m. The police turned around in the road and chased the car, said Darby. The men eluded the patrol team in traffic before being later spotted by a second patrol team in the town of Mandeville on Caledonia Road in the vicinity of the Eleti Mall. I don't know how to pronounce. Another unit saw the vehicle and turned around. The vehicle sped away. The men jumped out and left the vehicle and eluded the police, said Darby. Following a search of the vehicle, a firearm was found. So an eyewitness said that he saw men carrying what appeared to be firearms when they alighted from the vehicle. A 4th man was arrested as the police believe he deliberately blocked their interception of the vehicle. There was a second vehicle that the police believe prevented them from intercepting the first vehicle. So we have that man for a questioning, said Darby.
Also then catch him.
I think him just slow.
I didn't think so that. Maybe he sacrificed himself.
And no sacrifice are going to
Man
Man shot and injured by a gunman in Corville Gardens. One man has been admitted to hospital following an attack by a gunman in Corville Gardens, St. Andrew on Thursday. Now, reports are that the man was walking along Bob Marley Boulevard in the community when he was attacked by 2 men on a motorcycle. Them damn bike. Police were called and the man who was walking in the community was found suffering from gunshot wounds. He was rushed to hospital. The incident has triggered widespread concern among citizens in the community. Him could be somebody from outside the community who kind of bring him past in with him, you know. So more time people who come in the community more time have to run their file and don't watch them car. Yeah, really homeless man shot dead along Grove Road in St. Andrew. A man said to be in his 60s was found with gunshot wounds on Grove Road in St. Andrew on Thursday. His identity has not been ascertained, but it is believed he was homeless. Now, residents reported they heard gunfire about 2:50 p.m. and alerted the police to the area. And on their arrival, the man was found on a property suffering from bullet wounds. He was assisted to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Chaja. At the time he was already since night.
Man.
A motive for the killing has not been established. Cops zooming on scheme involving criminals posing as delivery men.
As in like
your order and car. Yes.
Really?
Yes.
You know,
and let me show you a local vibe. Show me your vibe.
Let me tell you the vibe when me show. You know, me do a delivery the other day and me share my live location. After me doing me, I say, you know, me not like it.
Where you use 7 crave?
No, I never 7 crave use, man. I might look up.
Oh, your people then?
Yeah, but for some reason, it just kicking on my mind. Yeah, I mean, I say, you're not smart, girl. So I stop share the thing and say, tell them, say, me there here, so. But then now, somebody link me and tell me, say, 1 hour past student, I do a little thing now. So I say, you know, say, I dare something I got
support you.
Yeah, man, because I want my youth.
Let me show you what I noticed recently. Normally, back in the days, especially in the peak of the pandemic, it normally just be the rider. Now, 2 people are come.
No, man, 2 you can come.
And they ask me, alright, look on somebody bike when
Me
they
nah
pass them
come out
on
and
the
do it
road.
to you.
When you pass
2
them on the
man too.
road, sometimes a girl upon it, or
Me nah
sometimes
come
2
out
man.
and do it. Me nah come out.
See, me not depend that, care back. Me not
Me
want
look for you in the man. Me nah go out there to you. Yeah,
I
idiot.
say, you know, me not trust that something.
So, me add that. Make we say me add a look something from KFC. Me add a 2 pieces of chicken from KFC. I mean to tell you. A 2 man a ride for one bike here come give me you feel a fool.
What me surmise though is that they probably do it too out of seeking protection. Because some of them have been robbed, you know.
Yeah, man, they are getting robbed too.
But me not love it.
Me not like it neither.
You want a 2 man come on, yeah.
Some of them are get robbed too. That I know.
So I think whilst 2 of them is traveling, it is some form of, you know.
But you still have to
Strength
go,
in
you still have to
numbers.
go look, sir. You still have to look because in these days and age, because I know for some of them, you know, if you live in a particular area, they might tell you no.
No, they're not coming there.
We don't deliver.
Right, just like some pizza place and deliver in some
certain
community.
place. We not come there, so. And that is understandable. But it.
Brother, man, them find everything for
That is what
infiltrate with them
I'm about
foolishness,
to say. Everything that try come out a good, then find a way if you just dismantle it and make it become. I don't know, yeah.
Police say they have arrested a man who they suspect is part of a scheme involving robbers, dressing up as delivery men to attack unsuspecting citizens. St. Catherine South Police said the suspect, who is wanted for multiple robberies and other crimes, was arrested during one of their many operations carried out in the division recently. Police said the raid in which the suspect was apprehended was conducted on Tuesday, October 27th in the Portmore Town Centre.
Okay.
Reports are that a group of persons was reportedly seen posing as delivery men to rob unsuspecting citizens, and the police said in a release from the Constabulary Communication Unit. Now, during the operation, police said they pursued 2 of the men from the group. One of them was apprehended, searched, and a firearm was found. So I let him deliver, leading to his arrest. The other one escaped. A search has since been launched for the other suspect and his cronies. Now, preliminary investigations have revealed that the man in custody is also wanted for shootings and robberies committed in the Portmore municipality. He is also a person of interest in a recent murder in the Gregory Park area.
Oh boy.
The investigation continues with a view of proffering charges. Since the arrest of the suspect, the operation officer for the St. Catherine South Division, Superintendent Houghton Nicholson, has issued a call for citizens to be vigilant. We are encouraging citizens to be extremely vigilant when commuting in the division.
You feel hot?
Yeah? And you feel cold?
Yeah, I did. I'm sure then, sir, I did you feel cold. You never hear?
I never did it, brother.
Them say me I tell you say me here.
Since
Me
I've
never
been a
did
dead
it.
boy, tell it.
That be here.
Thanks to info.
Oh boy.
See?
I hear me. Yeah, me I try to be a good friend and I tell you what me know. And you still a good. Boy, can't win with you. Give up.
We are encouraging citizens to be extremely vigilant when commuting in the division, especially on foot, in areas that are lonely and not well lit. We are also imploring citizens who have been the victims of robberies, especially from perpetrators on motorcycles, to report the robberies to the police. Ah, boy.
Let me tell you something, that's why I love lock up on bed. See if it's look spot at these things. And it's still not safe because they will dig out the bars and come in there.
Then if you want to know in your house and make man dig off your bar and chop off one of their hand, you know.
No, me not cutlass.
As a farmer?
As a farmer. That's sad. Me did have one cutlass before. But he never make a transition.
Really?
No worry, I get a 28.
Me sharp me if you.
2 side, 1 to sharp.
And
When
just chop
baby
yourself.
down, rope down the angle, say angle, balance out the weight tight. So when we raise it, I not prefer it. Do I say it's always happening in Portman? Okay.
Teacher, how much time do someone get for a legal possession of firearm? It depends on more life.
2 years.
Because there have been instances where people get suspended sentences. Here's when people get probation. Someone get 10 years, someone get 15 years. So I suppose depending on the judge and the discretion of same judge and the mitigating and aggravating factors. So I think the starting point though is 10 years. I think, Finar, correct me if I'm wrong, listener, but it varies. Also, if somebody who have been arrested and convicted for firearm related offences before go back in front of the court, you know, for them sentence I got definitely should be longer than a first time offender. So it depends. There's no hard and fast, black and white things. That's all about grey areas tonight. So the judges them now look at the aggravating circumstances and the mitigating factors and some other something.
Circumstance and factor. In case you with gun story.
I am being set up, says man linked to child abductor. That's St. Thomas.
How was it came up?
When we talk, people listen. Remember we went somewhere to do an interview and the argument came up and I said, based on my information, somebody was arrested. Yeah, man. Think about it. But he never did too load up because the second child was still out there.
Oh, yes. I remember now.
Alright.
I remember the
a St. Thomas man who spent 3 days in custody for questioning and also for his own protection after it was rumored that he was an accomplice to suspected child abductor Davian Bryan wants to clear his name. Interesting. Tevin Archat. I'm not sure the pronunciation. I've never seen that surname before. See, I work with Archat. 26 wants an end to the saga in which he has been accused by a person from his district of Arcadia of telling Brian he needed to have sex with 13 virgins. It's like somebody planned to set me up. I don't have any involvement with the child or a charge or anything. It is spreading that I am the person who would tell the boy he must sex 13 virgins because the case can bust, he said. Brian is suspected of abducting 9-year-old Phyllis Presea and 13-year-old Winshay Barrett, who were found after persistent searches from residents and the security forces. Both girls were hospitalized. So the suspect is also on bail for charges of rape and illegal possession of firearm in Portland. He was forced to leave Norwich District because of a court order to preserve the alleged victim's safety. So, a minute. Everything. Okay. Right, to show you now. So, Arcat, said the Bath police investigated him and he was released without charge. The police them take my phone and run it. They didn't abuse me. They didn't take my fingerprints. They just asked me some deep questioning about the girl and so forth. And the guy that is missing. The youth himself not know me. But you know him? Archat said he underwent emotional turmoil during his days-long stay in lockup. He disclosed that he was not physically harmed by residents, but his family is concerned because he was verbally abused and some persons brandished machetes.
Honestly.
The news also circulating is that I am the person who is charging phone for the wanted man and I am supporting him with food, which I am not, he said. The police them asked me all of them something there. He said he does not have a history of crime and is fearful that he could suffer the fate of 43-year-old Levi Chambers, who was hacked to death by a mob in Landui, St. Thomas on October 20. He said that his image has been circulated in the social media sphere, and is aware that he could become the victim of misinformation and mischief. When I come out of jail, those are all the messages I am hearing about my name. But the police, them say them only question me. I went through the process and the police did what they had to do. People since that I put up my picture with fraud news. Them I tell people say if them see me, they must call the police because I am involved with Davey, and he said. He's encouraging the police to continue the manhunt for Brian and at his own advice for the fugitive. That man will just surrender himself still, you know? Either just bring in himself or I'm going to stay somewhere with somebody there, make police come for him. Him not go walk on a station. So better him just do something where them can get to him without people kill him. If people catch him, he might go dead, he said. Ah, boy.
No honesty.
But where do you go when you have nowhere to go?
On that tree somewhere.
Hmm?
On that tree somewhere.
You understand?
Honesty.
But you see, that is the thing with the social media thing, you know. I mean, I tell you, say, like, we're very quick to run, go do video and put up picture and then something silly. Not that me I say the brother innocent, you know. I'm not saying guilty neither. But I have spoken before about the social media thing where, boy, a man life can just mash up overnight. Because how social media run, once the news go out there, you know, whether you're right or wrong, you know, it's out there, you know. And you say if you're wrong, if you're right, fine. If you're wrong, you can't do nothing to fix it back, you know, because people done make up their mind already, you know.
Then at that time,
you understand what I'm saying?
The court of public opinion has already been called, the case tried, and a verdict handed down.
That rough, you know, brother.
Yeah.
If your man just take away a picture from nowhere sometime, you know. I remember when the shooting going around where policemen were killed in the operation on a Spanish Town.
Mm-hmm.
With the
Rise and Park.
Yeah, man, and then send out one picture of one man or drive taxi, say him a the money.
You know,
people can dead see, you know, brother.
They don't think when they do it, you know. They don't think when they do it, man. I tell you, it's just in the moment to get the hype and get the views and the clicks and the likes. I just that. And a man, as you said, somebody might lose them life in that case.
It's all about views, man, and likes, brother. No consideration for people well-being or safety, you know, or whether or not the story true, you know, brother.
It's true.
Like I have seen it so many times, I mean, I say, yo.
And it turned out not to be true, right?
God. You see? Alright, for example, the soldier brother today, Captain Fantastic. Kevin Soldier, man.
Oh.
I had his picture for a while. But I could not confirm
if it was really
that it was him. Because I did a video last night about with the tagline cop, thief and soldier.
Mm-hmm.
And what I then said, so me I say pastor thief and policewoman and see? And I had his picture.
I didn't use it.
Me have picture with him says a girl, the policewoman.
Mm-hmm.
I know nobody not confirm that to me.
So you
just
don't use it.
You understand? Me have videos with the girl, me have pictures, me have all sorts of things.
Until you can be confirmed.
You
have to be responsible, sir.
Number them people in a business them something.
People running for you, so they must sue. You have to be responsible.
You see me? Is it that way? Motorists to get $6 million after cop wrongfully had vehicle seized. I mean, I share the article here because of one particular thing. The police in Jamaica constantly do crap and taxpayers have to pay for it. I don't know, one situation or two situation or three situation or 100 situation or thousands of them, brother.
What happened?
Millions of dollars the government pay every year to settle civil claims where involve police and us and other government workers, you know, brother. The money that we can use to different things in our country, you know, to develop a country, you know. The government is to pay $5.8 million with interest to a motorist whose minibus, was seized by the police on January 18, 2020 because he refused to pay a record fee of $18,000. Just listen. You hear so far? Yeah, follow? Following the siege of his Toyota Coaster bus at the 3 miles intersection in Kingston 11, Ronald Thompson brought a suit in the Supreme Court against the Attorney General and a Constable Anderson who had seized his bus. Yeah, follow so far?
Yeah.
Thompson said in court documents that the police who was dressed in uniform stopped him. He came out of the vehicle and noticed a wrecker parked nearby. After inspecting the vehicle documents, the policeman then demanded that Thompson pay $18,000 in wrecker fees.
To that particular record.
Or his vehicle, but that is not even a problem, go on, listen. Or his vehicle would be seized. Yeah, follow?
Yeah, man.
Alright. Thompson told him that he had no money to pay him. The vehicle was placed on the wrecker and driven away. You don't see nothing wrong yet? What was the violations that Mr. Thompson?
Why this vehicle was seized?
Alright.
Why you seized the
Okay.
vehicle?
No, we're not hearing about that. You know. See? You look at the paper them, you're not charged with nothing.
But you seized my vehicle.
See,
why?
you don't find no issue with the papers them. Me not violate no road code, no road traffic act. So why me need to give you $18,000 to put my vehicle on a record? Alright, I could continue and see what I go on about it. Thompson said he was not charged with any breach of the Road Traffic Act or any offense that would warrant a seizure. The next day, Thompson went to the Olympic Gardens police station where he saw Constable Anderson and demanded his vehicle and the related documents. Thompson said the policeman again demanded the wrecker fee before the vehicle could be released. When I release... Who's in that tune then? Don't worry about my singing, man. Don't worry about it. Thompson retained the services of Anthony Dr. Gartlitter, who on January 23rd last year wrote to a senior police officer and to the constable, Constable Anderson, demanding the return of the vehicle. However, the request was not granted. In the suit, which was filed on February 24 last year, Thompson sought $10 million in compensation for a loss of use of the vehicle.
Good number.
The vehicle was subsequently returned following a Supreme Court order made on November 9. So that's from January to November, you know, brother?
Almost a year.
Acting Supreme Court Judge Tanya Minot Tulloch Reid assessed damages in the matter and last month ordered that the defendants pay $5.8 million for losses of income, with interest at 3% from January 29, 2020 to September 29, 2021. Legal costs were also awarded to the claimant. Now, commenting on the case Thursday, Little said that he considered the incident a flagrant breach of the law. The only time the police who break the law will understand and take heed is when they are compelled to pay a part of the judgment money. What do you think about that?
So hold on. So this money that was awarded to this man, am I money up here?
I know you all one.
Our money
tax.
up here?
Yeah.
Ah.
But this is small compared to some settlements that the government have to do every year.
So what?
I read something last year, and it was about half by the year, where the government would have made over $80 million in civil suit settlement so far.
$80 million.
About $83 million.
So what is done to
the policeman?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No reprimand.
We still continue to pay him apparently.
Okay.
Whilst we are pay a bus driver.
Okay.
If you lost earnings. Imagine the man and take a bus in 1 year now. Can't even pay a record fee where he not charge if you not.
He not charge it. So you never figure out say need to charge if you sit in there.
Because he probably been a get with it.
Yeah.
I wonder who won the record.
One day bucket of oil every day, one day bottom must drop out. A question I wanted to ask, during the article the question came to mind. So let's say for instance I am pulled over and my vehicle not up to date. Not up to the code, whatever.
Right.
And them say, alright, Erica, do I have the choice to call?
I am not certain.
My
That's
own
a very
record?
good question. I'm not sure.
Or do I have to comply and use the record that they have available?
Good question. Invest. Deal with that for me now. If you don't get the question, me ask her to repeat. It's a good question.
You know, I didn't see invest too long, say I'm going to
In
go
the
on
day,
patrol.
I'm
I'm
gone.
going to go on
He could have
patrol
gone then.
in the next hour.
First, me never had no police put no vehicle on the record for me, so me don't know.
I have known of them going on the record.
Right, so
But
I
normally
don't know
people
if
just
there's
stop
an
on the
option.
record with them.
Right,
So
right.
I don't know if there's an option. No, they say no, you
You
have to comply.
Okay.
Okay. Why though? Is the wrecking services owned by the government or are
No,
they
man, I
private
think a private companies.
contracted?
Yeah, man.
Okay, by the government.
I suppose.
I would suppose so that they are contracted by the government.
Repeat the question. Invest still there.
I was asking Invest if I am pulled over and the police decided that they are going to seize my vehicle. Do I have to use the record that the police have, or can I call my own wrecking service to come and collect the vehicle and transport it to wherever the police says it should go? Finance. Oh, that is true, Finance.
The police want some record. We know that. That's why I said before you ask the question, I wonder who won the record.
Can we figure more than likely the record might be a private entity contracted by the government? Can I not think you just call random record to come with you on the road?
And as DeAndrea said too, some of them work, you know?
In tandem.
Yeah, man. So, the more vehicle you see, the more you get a cut out the record fee.
Teacher. $18,000 for one vehicle.
Right.
Investors fund?
You know, funny enough, you know. Remember one time when we used to rent vehicle? You remember when the vehicle shut off on the highway? A 2 time, brother.
Remember?
At 25 grand, we have to pay both times each.
Yeah, man. It's expensive.
And the first one, them carried off a highway and left your angels. And the
So
second
they never go far with it?
No. And the second one, them carried come on me and
Invest say any service can be used. However, I would wait 3 hours until you get one. When one is present or provided. But sir, Invest, suppose I can get one at a cheaper cost. What if I can get one at a cheaper cost?
It's a very interesting point you bring up with you. Come to think of it, you know.
Because the wrecking service you have might cost 20,000, but I know somebody that I can pay 12. Or suppose my boyfriend have one service, we can get him come feed for free. I mean, the 3 hours wait is a little bit. But what if I can get access to it immediately?
Good question. Interesting.
But you know, another thing is I think in most cases when pulled over by an officer, I think we automatically
get antsy.
Even when we not do nothing guilty, you know, we're not guilty and not when we're innocent as a lamb. We get very antsy. It's true. Very true. Finar said they are not going to allow it. I figured that much, Finar. I figured that much.
But the record thing has been a lucrative business, you know, policeman for a while, so the brother.
Have to be.
And transport authority, man.
Have to be.
Teaching the police call for a record, that vehicle have to go on that record that they call because they all work together. There's a breach of the Road Traffic Act.
Okay.
Okay, but what if before they call a record, me selling some me have a record?
That is exactly what we're saying, DS. 99% of the time when you pull over, even if you are innocent, you get antsy. You get timid, you get kind of...
You are right to choose. So it's a very good question to ask those sis. I'm not telling a lie. Side hustling. Well, are we a pay for?
Boy, sometimes I wonder if discretion. Because I know of a case where the person, I think it was a lights up or something. Like it was literally up. Maybe I think a week or so. But I think it was extenuating circumstances. The person was going through whatever. And, you know, they showed the police all the documentation to say that the car, she had changed the vehicle. So, like, it would be a particular time that she would do it. But because she changed, it now changed to a different timing. But she was going through a little rough patch. And she was there showing them, you know, this is what is happening. This is when it is usually done. Hence, kind of, you know, I like no discretion. No.
Some police officers will grant you.
Sir, no,
But
nothing.
some of them.
Like, she literally called a ball and she said, you know, she showed them the death certificate. She showed them everything. Because she literally had everything in the vehicle. Say, this is what is happening. This is the change in time why me kind of fall off. This has never happened before. Police said, no, man, put it on the record. Said,
Some police had no human side to it. You understand?
Yeah, man, him put it on the record and tell her say she could go up and go pay fee.
My policeman then go there to compete every day so he can give more ticket there.
Yeah, man, him never care. I mean, circumstances like that, sir, when the person show you genuinely say, you know, something happen. Show you that there's a change in the time that it was paid. Show you exactly what is happening now. Why in this time frame your mind in a kind of sleep. He said, no, sir. You put it on the record, pound nigga.
But as I eat that food still, so it's a business. Clean up time. Cornwall initially voiced concerns about incomplete records ahead of audit. So a month after he registered an entity with the same name as the government's Joint Committee for Tertiary Education, JCTE, that he led, Cecil Cornwall told his executive to get its house in order because they could be audited. Meeting records have revealed. It is a first glimpse into the operations of the advisory body in the education ministry that is now at the center of a $124 million police investigation triggered by a damning Auditor General report. Cornwall advised that given the scrutiny expected, the JCTE's records should be up to date. Read a section of the minutes of the March 25, 2019 executive meeting. He reportedly said that other minutes must be identified to substantiate payments to project officers, that the chairman must approve all payments, and that controversial ones should be discussed by the executive.
Excuse me. Sure.
The meeting was advised that although the JCTE is a not-for-profit, the government can audit the JCTE, added the documents obtained. The JCTE meeting and Cornwall's warning came 5 days after Ruel Reid resigned as Education Minister over allegations of corruption involving the ministry and Caribbean Maritime University. How many days?
5.
5 days. Shall we labor? Reid, who is still appointed principal of Jamaica College, is before the courts on corruption charges. What did not appear in the minutes was the February 22nd, 2019 incorporation of an entity called JCTE Limited with 2 directors, Cornwall and Fillmore McCarthy, and Venita Longman as secretary based on Companies of Jamaica's records. There were no shareholders. All 3 persons held roles in the government's JCTE. Cornwall has been chairman since 2015. McCarthy, the principal of Excelsior Community College, has been treasurer since at least 2015. Around the same time, Longman took over as coordinator. At the same March 2019 meeting, there was a specific discussion on the legal status of the JCTE, but again, no mention that a private version existed. Cornwall said, you see, hold on, you don't see it. When you see it, we'll tell me, because you don't see. Cornwall told the meeting that the JCTE had capitalized on its training objectives and were generating an income, the document said. Remember, it's supposed to be not for profit, you know. But another you don't see it. With an acknowledgement that questions were being raised in circles about the committee's legal status. The meeting was advised that JCTE is not a legal body, but is contracted to conduct business, the minutes said. The word "not" was later crossed out, but replaced with "and." That's funny. It was also noted that the executive committee had agreed that the JCTE should become a not-for-profit entity. An official aware of the JCTE's operations said up to that meeting, there was no indication that Cornwall had registered a private entity with a similar name to the committee. See, you know, see what I mean? This is just like CAP, where the man they make a parallel CAP program, the man they make a parallel JCTE.
Anyway.
The man is a copy and paste. The man then copy and paste CAP. The man then copy and paste this, copy and paste that. The man then copy and paste JCTE.
Oh boy.
An official, we said that already. There were other major revelations from the JCTE minutes, including a complaint by Secretary Delise Williams, who is reported to have said communication among executive members needed to be improved because the team is not sufficiently knowledgeable about JCTE's activities. As an example, she pointed to the committee's 2018 conference that she said was in an advanced state of planning before the full executive was involved. Yeah? Williams is a principal of the government's Vocational Training Development Institute. There was also the disclosure that the Education Ministry authorized the payment of an honorarium to members of the JCTE committee that manage the various projects, which include the Ministry's Center of Occupational Studies and the Career Advancement Program, CAP. The precise rate is not clear, but it is believed that the funds were taken out of the commission that was paid over to the JCTE, which has been a vexing issue for some colleagues, with reports from earlier this year that there was a standoff between a college and the JCTE leadership over a demand for $40 million out of the $400 million that the institution received from the ministry. This long, but may I read it. The uncertainty with payments from the schools was the problem the JCTE wanted to avoid. This is why initially the ministry withdrew the commission from its disbursement to schools and sent it to the committee. I don't know why we needed to pay JCTE for anything in the first place. If the program are for our colleges and the ministry approves our cohorts, why is there a need for the JCTE to be a middleman in this process? Said another tertiary leader.
They don't like JCTE, look like.
Be tired, it's too long.
Boy.
Yes, it's a long one. I won't leave a revelation. You should read the article.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, man.
You know, me like how me send an article, but you don't send me an article.
Because you normally see most of them. Me not send a Ruel article today.
You send me yesterday,
man.
You send me that, man.
Yeah, man.
So now they wiggle.
Wiggle. Ruel reads wiggle. See? But you read, you have more time to read than me.
Good night, Richie. Richie said good night to only me, not you. It is a good night, Scotty, and only Scotty. You don't know, say I know it.
Me no love, man, brother. Which are there, though? Kevin Smith charged posthumously. I mean, we talk about Kevin Smith accident and incident from Monday night, so I'm not too stress myself. But this whole thing kind of stir our next discussion. So, you charge them when dead already? Yeah, we don't reach that part yet, man. We are talking about this. Focus.
So you honor people.
Focus.
So you honor people after they dead. I let you don't get here after they dead.
Oh, that's a good point.
So 6 hours.
That's something good that.
Then you still are charging. Then I make sure teacher just in case he reappear.
No friends with the foolishness.
Alright.
It's just that the estate kind of have that black mark upon itself.
Because
remember say judges sentence people in absentia, you know. You know if you're in a court for you get sentenced, you know. So why you can't charge a man if he's dead? It just a reflect on your record say he was charged a murder. Why is he not getting a chance to defend himself?
I know Kevin straight you have to be careful.
What do you mean?
Then suppose he come back.
Sure. Death has not spared Kevin Smith the humiliation of being slapped with murder charges in connection with the horror that played out at the organization he led, Pathways International Kingdom Restorations Ministry. Every time I say that, I run out of breath.
DS, thanks DS, you see? That's why I like DS.
What DS say?
DS say, yeah man, just in case he turn up mysteriously.
2 days after he died in a car crash, Smith was posthumously, am I saying that right?
Brother, you know, sister, they're not even wait for the 3rd day.
Charged with 2 counts of murder. As we said, they are charged him for conspiracy. Conspiracy to commit murder. Illegal possession of a firearm. We soon talk about a firearm, but don't move. Because I say one look thing when I see nobody else look at it. Hold on. Illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition, wounding with intent and shooting with intent. Pastor Gunny Baudet. The murder charges are in relation to the vicious killing of 39-year-old Tanika Gardner and 38-year-old Michael Scottdale Brown, both of St. James. Auntie.
Barcode is not a calling stream. Tonight is not a calling stream.
A former member of Smith's misguided flock, who asked not to be named, told reporters that during what they believe was to be a 3-day convention, Brown was first in line to be killed. So the youth dead first, you know. Kidney man. Zane, after being promised a new kidney, the source said, Brown allegedly discharged himself from the Cornwall Regional Hospital where he was being treated for a kidney disease. But me I said this, let me I go to church where them I said this a man make dumb people talk and crippled people walk and people all sort of things. And then my pastor so powerful I'm in a hospital bed late. Oh, him not heal me before now.
Hey, pastor should have do something for him.
But pastor said I do something for him and give him a new kidney. So what do you think, pastor, when I get the kidney from?
Teacher, that me I wonder. But then if me say to you, if this man stop and think and say, what pastor get a new kidney? Or maybe just things a pastor go work, a miracle go work and him go heal. It's not necessarily a new kidney.
But the man depend dialysis for all long now, so why pastor never heal him all along?
A film time now.
A film time. It was his time. For sure. Watch him. I go continue. He had a kidney issue and he was just coming from the hospital. They did something. I think it is dialysis they call it. He was just coming from the hospital with bandages all over him, the man said. There was one in his neck. Smith looked at him and asked, "You believe in me?" And the guy said, "Yes, I believe in you." And the guy ran to him, fell to his feet and started to hold on to his feet. And he said to him, "Touch my tassel." And the guy touched his foot. The man said that this was when Smith pulled the catheters, I said that pronoun? The tube them, the flexible tube them. Yeah. From Brown's frail body. He said, "You will have to die and I will bring you back to life." Do you believe in me?
No, I'm a fool. First of all, sir.
But they said that about a testicle, brother. They said tassel.
Oh, Richie said touching testicle. Richie behave yourself.
They said about a testicle, brother. I said tassel. You have to spell it for you?
Brother.
Sure.
If pastor book me up on the road and me dead, feel free for raise me. But I can't even go kill me for raise me.
I know him kill him, man. Somebody else. You understand? Cathete. You know, me check out the pronunciation. Catheters. No, I think you know.
My bite too.
No man, brother. Cause when me read the article, me see the word. Yeah man, but that me not hear it.
Oh, you want to hear it?
Yes.
Richie says, spell it please. Tassel, Richie. Tassle. Tassel. I don't know where you get testicles out of that.
Richie mine. Catheter.
That
Catheter.
Sound very.
Catheter. Yeah. Catheter. Yeah. Me actually go look for your pronunciation because I was actually seeing the word for the first time. I'm kind of like a bit there, yeah man. I come across a word for the first time, I go look for your meaning.
I if something that I'm going to insert in your penis.
And
like if they're hospital and can't pee. True.
Insert in your penis?
Yeah man.
Up in your penis?
So you think then get urine out in
I mean, I think in your penis. I probably somewhere like at the root of your penis. I can't up in your penis.
Alright, go and go ahead and see.
How for penis you didn't put that in there?
I don't see it in a number. You see me walk and look on penis?
Don't me ask. Then you tell me. So me ask. Alright, what do you know? Shab, do you believe in me?
No.
Alright. So you say no. Right. He said, "You will have to die and I will bring you back to life." And he just started to pull the band-aids off him and pull the thing out his neck. When he pulled it off, there was blood shooting out of his body like it was a river running, the man recounted. He said that during the whole ordeal, Smith kept promising his followers that he would resurrect Brown. He asked the boy, "Is there anywhere that we can put him so he can bleed out and die? Then I will raise him back from the dead," said the former congregant.
What's the same man? Jesus. And people stand up and watch all of this.
Gardner was next in line. You know, the man said it is alleged that Smith told her that entry to the premises would require blood. He said, "Your blood has to be clean. You cannot enter here." And he asked her, "Do you believe that I am the resurrection, the truth and the light?" In the party. He said, "Do you believe I am the resurrection?" And she said, "Yes, I do." The man recounted of the horrifying night. I see the article and I say, "I even do no video about this, brother." I just go on my bed after I read it.
And people stand up and watch all
But we're not done yet. He said that Smith went on to ask Gardner, "Do you believe that if you die, you will come back to life?" To which he replied, "Yes, I do." A marriage. At this point, Smith gave instructions for Gardner's throat to be slashed, the man said. He said, "Archangels, one of you go and cut her throat," the man alleged. Gardner did not cry out, the man said. "All I can remember hearing is like blood was rushing down her windpipe, and I could hear her choking on her blood. But she did not scream or anything, and I think the reason for that was because the knife was rubbed with garlic, so she wasn't feeling it," the man said. Then came strict orders from Smith to arm other congregants if they attempted to enter the premises. He said anyone that he does not authorize to come through the gates should be stabbed to death, the man recounted. Members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force were alerted after an injured woman turned up at hospital and reportedly told lawmen of rituals involving human sacrifice, blah, blah, blah.
Teacher people then stand up and say all of this happening.
"Do you believe that I am the resurrection, the truth and the light?"
I don't believe that, sir.
"Do you believe that if you die, I can raise you back from the dead?" Yeah, idiot. You understand? "Yes, I do." This I do, you know, a death sentence.
Whatever.
Jack Mandora, I don't choose none, so me get it, so me tell you. I don't choose the side. You understand?
It's still just disheartening and I don't know.
What you mean, say, if me kill her, me can rise back?
But teacher, me tell you, from evening, me attack and me tell you, say, "Sir, if you see me on the road dead, feel free to resurrect me. But I can't you. I got all of my dead to resurrect me. Me a package you. I show and tell."
Yeah, we don't step by things with joking at this. Like, yeah, I say, yo.
It's really puzzling to show Richie. You just, no, do. It's really puzzling. Brain, what? I don't know what the word for describe it.
Them really believe in that man and Scotty.
I don't know what word for describe it, sir.
Scotty, what me say they do?
I don't know.
The man say, "Man, raise him back from the dead," and people in that church say, "Yes, Pastor.
We believe.
We believe."
And turn up them and cut your throat.
Mm-hmm. But speaking about, alright, when you read this out, because you see, cut throat thing is the next thing, you know. Like, we move on, because night will come.
Mm-hmm.
You sure with them? Yeah, so?
Senior cop.
Yeah, so this whole posthumous charge. So a senior police officer explained that the constabulary's announcement on Wednesday that the late Pathways International Kingdom Restoration's ministry leader, Kevin Smith, has been charged with murder was really an accounting procedure for transparency in the case. Cleaning up cases posthumously refers to a police investigative process where a suspect who was being pursued in an investigation dies before the police were able to proffer prefer the relevant charges against such suspect, the senior cop who opted not to be named said. And thing, it is a procedure where the records of such charges are made and cross-referenced with the original records reporting such incident in the police diary or any other such records impacting its origin, he added. The deceased obviously cannot be communicated with, so he or she cannot be charged. Clearing up cases posthumously serves to maintain a true account of the work done and ultimately creates transparency relative to police statistics. This climaxes with the relevant files being sent to the coroner for an inquest. The clearing up of cases posthumously is procedural and is managed and authorized by a senior police officer, he explained further. And things. So the police raised eyebrows when they said that Smith, who had died in a car crash on Monday on a Lindsay bypass in St. Catherine while being transferred from Freeport police station, blah, 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 and thing, where charges were to be laid against him. And we know the charges and him, something, thing. So I hope that kind of,
Fair make a good comment. All who were there should be held accountable.
Kevin Smith feared for his life, says attorney. Defense attorney Valerie Robertson, who represented controversial clergyman Kevin O. Smith, claimed that her client told her that members of the security forces were going to kill him. He said they were going to kill him, but I cannot say which police told him so. He could not recognize any of the police to say they were from Montego Bay, she said. Nice, man. Nita Robertson also said that her client told her that he was assaulted by several members of the security forces upon his arrest. She said that he had bruises on his body when she went to see him at the police station. Mr. Try to find my Valerie, I said. Auntie. So he was uncuffed. His clothes, I think he was in the gown that he would baptize people into. I remember saying they kind of naked, so I guess I cover him up. Were taken off, and he was kicked down the steps to the outside. He deserved 2 kick. 2 feet. My personal opinion. Those views are my personal opinion. I know some people would have take offense to that. But how well? Since Smith's bizarre death in Monday's car crash, information has been put in the public domain, which indicated that he had a checkered past. Now, Paula Llewellyn, the director of public prosecution, said that Smith was convicted in Canada in 2007 for the sexual assault of a 21-year-old man. It was not immediately clear whether he was deported from Canada. No, when I did that video, apparently some people took offense to it, saying, it's irrelevant and then something. And I said, then I share information on my channel. Me just share some information. If you're not relevant, you don't watch it.
Not watch it.
You understand? And then I try to wonder how people feel like me care about what them think most of the time. Me do a video. Zane, if you find value in it, yeah man.
And I comments?
You find value, yeah man. You find value in it, you watch it. If you don't find a value in it, you don't watch it. You understand? So we watch it and I complain for. Me not understand. Yeah. Why you watch a video and I complain? Like me not get that. You understand? If it's not something where you just not watch it. Sometimes we just talk too much, man. So I could continue. We sure what they say now. But in a letter to Llewellyn on Wednesday, Nita Robertson requested that she be provided with documents supporting the DPP statement on Smith's conviction. She also questioned the relevance of the information considering that Smith was due to face charges of murder, illegal possession of firearm and wounding with intent. The man is dead and you're still trying to nasty him up. That funny. They were trying to nasty your pastor. Valerie said they were trying to nasty up the pastor. You have a job to spread out. You understand? I said.
What happened to the 2 police officers that were in
Them
that
still
scene?
the hospital, man. I don't know
Critical?
if them still the critical. Yes, as far as I know. It is deeply concerning that in circumstances in which Dr. Kevin Smith had not been charged for any offences and is now deceased, that the director should have publicly disseminated material that is damaging to his memory and which he is unable to deny or accept. But if he was convicted in Canada,
What is
then
there
why
to
is there to
deny or
deny or
accept? He was convicted and charged, wasn't it? So when more deny or accept?
The long-standing attorney has also hit back on comments that she was only interested in representing Smith because of money. I couldn't because of faith. So I must money. What do you think? Alright, that mean thing. They can say anything. That don't affect me. I run a private practice, so I make money independently.
True, man.
You can talk it. You can like it or you don't like it. But it is neither here nor there.
Mm-hmm.
When the big businessman put on 300 and 400% on him goods and you have to buy it can upset me. But it's his business, she said. So, who will represent Kevin Smith? Any lawyer could have represented him. It just happens to be me, a friend of his sister's who live in Canada, who knows me very well. Call and say, Valerie, them trying to get a lawyer, but nobody want to touch it. Can you help? So yes, because me not in a law for popularity.
Shab words.
That's how the accident happened. I couldn't tell you that, brother.
Oh, me never did.
You understand? Accident reconstruction experts would have to share that info there. You see me? So me don't know. No, the brother we called Tanika Chot, Andre Roddock. Apparently I never him was the archangel if you do it, you know. But the first person apparently say him not do it.
I'm
taking knife and do it. Because apparently a sweet bodyguard, you know. So he was offered legal aid representation, while the judge also said that she want a senior attorney to be assigned to the case as well. Yeah, man. Justice Vinette Graham, so Pathways murder accused unable to afford lawyer and will get legal aid. And this is my thing, sis. Zine, I thought Valerie, because they had Kevin and 2 lawyers, Valerie on the town side and Henry McCurdy on the Mobile side, me get to understand. So when I heard that he had retained lawyers, me think say lawyer for him and him right hand man. So I'm surprised to know so the man got court and he not a lawyer representing. I think Valerie was him lawyer.
You think wrong.
Zine, Justice Vinette Graham Allen halted court proceedings against Andre Roddock as the murder accused was unrepresented in the Home Circuit Court. And we know that Roddock is before the court to answer to 1 count of murder and 1 count of wounding with intent stemming from the killing of 39-year-old office worker Tanika Gardner. Gardner she name? I'm not sure. Them say Gardner so. And thing. So this totally built Roddock appeared scared as he was ushered into the court. And while sitting in the dock, Justice Graham Allen told Justice Graham Allen that he is unable to afford an attorney. The judge then started proceedings for him to get legal aid after Roddock gave the approval when asked, Mr. Roddock, do you have a lawyer, sir? No, ma'am, Roddock replied. Can you afford a lawyer? The judge asked. No, Roddock responded. Do you wish the court to get a lawyer for you? Justice Allen asked. He mumbled an inaudible response, and after the prompting of the judge, Roddock said, yes, I do. I am always very careful to ensure that the accused persons has counsel before we go any further, which is the right thing to do. I cannot depart, and I will not depart from ensuring that the accused is protected. The role of the court is to ensure that the proceeding is fair. Justice Allen said. So the judge instructed the court staff to make a request to the legal aid counsel for Roddock to get legal representation, after which she deliberated briefly with Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn, who is leading the prosecution, before setting the matter for a mention again next Wednesday. I think that's the 3rd of November. So attorney Venice Brown, who was in court, advised Justice Graham Allen that she would represent Ruddock in the matter. The judge, however, stated that she wanted a senior lawyer on the case to work alongside Brown, who said she has 9 years experience, but the judge still wants one senior too. Graham Allen said the senior attorney, who will be assigned by the Legal Aid Council, must be in court on Wednesday along with Brown, and Ruddock must also attend court. And thing, now still with the pathways, I remember that many of the sisters were charged under the Disaster Risk Management Act. Pathways 39 pays $1.17 million in fines.
What they paid already?
Yeah, well, I don't know. After pleading guilty and paying a total of, $1.17 million in fines, all 39 members of the Pathways International Kingdom Restoration Ministries, all before the court, have escaped serving time for breaches of the DRMA. They would each have had to pay. Who write this? They would each have had to pay to spend 20 days in prison had they not paid $30,000 per person when they appeared before the St. James Parish Court. Members of the group were inconspicuous among the approximately 300 people who appeared before the court, most on similar charges of the DRMA breaches, in order to minimize crowding and observe measures put in place to curb spread of the novel coronavirus case, blah, blah, blah. In one, those who opted to pay a fine instead of face trial were fined $20,000 or 10 days in prison, while in the other room, individuals were mostly charged $30,000 or 20 days. It is unclear whether the appearance of the Pathways 39 was responsible for the modest crowd gathered outside the building, which was being closely monitored by police and soldiers. Speaking about police and soldiers, soon get there, son. Oh, never mind. Ballistic tests confirm policewoman's weapon fired at Pathways Church. And immediately me have a question.
Who fired?
Let me take off my glass. Now, Pastor Kevin Smith has been charged for murder, conspiracy to murder, wounding with intent, illegal possession of firearm, illegal possession of ammunition, and something else.
Who's gun? Pastor?
Who for gun? So then say ballistic test say at the policewoman's gun, but was that gun fired by the policewoman? And if so, if she fired the gun there, I wish gun pass I didn't have.
Which gun passed the fire?
And which gun pass the fire? You understand what I'm saying, I dance? You don't understand, you out for water.
No, I understand.
You see?
See what about a pretty son.
So, the policewoman's gun
was fired.
By who?
Question is, who fired?
I have no idea. Because that was not in the report. As a matter of fact, where is the policewoman?
That's a good question.
Has she been charged? Will she be charged?
What will she
be charged with?
Good questions. Jamaica. Girl.
Fool?
Okay.
It's good to know what's happening with us. So them say our gun was fired. We don't know
who fires it.
Yeah,
we don't know
who gets shot. We don't. You understand?
Has she been charged?
Yeah, I understand. I have heard nothing.
No, see nothing in the streets.
Speaking about policewoman, soldier Captain Omain Morgan has gone on retirement from the JDF. So apparently they're not fired. He retired.
That's a nice way of putting it.
So you think he was fired?
A nice way of putting it.
You not answer my question?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's a nice way of putting it that
the policewoman did not shoot. She's still in custody. There were 2 guns in the church.
Oh. The shotgun was.
But hold on, yeah. One witness talk about the shotgun. But
that
Vernon Ellis said 1 gun was recovered.
Oh.
A pistol and magazine. So now Kevin is saying that 2 guns we're in the church. Me hear one woman say one pump rifle, cause the gun where it brings man then carry. One man did have that. Me not hear that being recovered.
No.
So I would have a question. If he was a licensed firearm holder, could he be charged for illegal? Yes, man. I want to ask Samba, brother. Somebody that I know very well once told me that it is easier for a licensed firearm holder to be charged for illegal possession of firearms than an illegal possession than a man with an illegal gun. Because gun thing tricky, you know. So if you have a licensed firearm, Samba, and you use it to crap, it's illegal.
Oh, invested.
The pastor did not fire a gun. He was charged because he was at the same location. So why the other 39 congregants them not charged for that then, brother? How come Rod up not get charged for that and he was there cutting people throat, allegedly? So talk to me now, invest. So he was on the location. So was the policewoman. Me know the charge is proffered against her.
One will get the DRMA
so against the DRMA people them. So right hand man Rod up. So the rationale there, the explanation they kind of weak though invest.
Look a basketish, water in a basket setting. Give me something look.
But he was charged for shooting with intent. Hold on, man. Hold on.
Reading charges the man.
Hold on.
No, not.
Alright, 2 counts of murder. Conspiracy to commit murder. Illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. Wounding with intent and shooting with intent.
So that means he fired them.
So you can't charge me for shooting with intent because me shoot the gun. Invest. Talk to me, man. Talk to me. You understand? You can't charge me for shooting with intent if me not fire no gun.
If I know me fire the gun. Yeah.
So I am assuming that the report is correct. Zine, and whilst invest would probably know some things, being that, you know, and thing, I'm not so sure. You see? So
Kevin said the
pass had fire gun 3 times. Kevin, talk to me though, cause you can't answer something. You did it? No, it's a serious question because he said some things where kind of make me wonder if he was there.
Excuse me. Or the young man said Kevin shot one of the members.
Teach them, both the pastor and Anjay, who is Anjay? They both have licensed firearm. One congregant said the fire pastor got in an interview. The perpetrator. I not get that. But the charges said invest that he was charged for shooting with intent. So you can't charge me for shooting with intent unless I mean shoot the gun. Fire the gun. That's what me I say. No man, I calm invest man. No brother, I calm when this attack man. Me I say, how can you charge me for shooting with intent if me not fire the weapon? Zane, I calm bro man. So talk to me then. Me I listen. No, be impressive. I think I invest. I think I Kevin and be impressive on that mention.
Samba said it's the misuse why he was charged for illegal possession.
Yes, so fine Samba, but then he was also charged for shooting with intent. So fine, he have a licensed weapon, and the misuse is illegal possession. But he was charged for shooting with intent. So did he fire the weapon? Because the only way you can be charged for shooting with intent is if you fire your weapon. Blessings, Malopole. Appreciate the support. Zane, the pastor was the one who caused the accident. We're not really talking about the accident part right now still. Zane, Auntie. Teacher, if a gun was fired within 24 hours of the arrest, they can swap the hand for a ballistic. Yeah, man, me get all of that. See? Me get all of that. But the question there, it's a question. But we'll continue. We shall we there?
No, let's just say it. No, come down back.
I'm going to answer with them a ballistic test. See? Auntie. Right, so if we go back to my origin, I can charge you, bro. Let's say you are in the car with 4 occupants. one man fired, I will charge you. But so this is the thing then, Invest.
Why were
How
the
come
others
he is
charged?
the only one that has been charged for shooting with intent and the legal possession of firearm? So based on that rationale, then fine. So no more people have been on location where the gun was fired and should be charged for shooting with intent too,
If that's the case.
and illegal possession of firearm based on that line of reasoning. So me hear what you say, but I hope you hear what me I say too. If that is the case, then how come he's the only one those charges were laid against? And he was not the only one there. So whilst me get what you say, then answer the question there for me. No. Alright.
Okay.
Alright. Okay. We'll see. May I wait for the response, Invest, because I'm very curious. As I say, I am a novice to the laws of this land, because some of the laws them are laws unto themselves too. They said the pastor shot Corey 2 times. Who named Corey?
Maybe somebody in the church.
Yeah, because somebody got shot for tree, Somebody has got shot and stabbed and never died. So you see again more questions and answers. But I could continue. So with them said, alright, you can be charged even if you did not fire, pending investigation. I understand that, bro, but I'm just asking. And that, based on that, how come him alone that charge was laid against? And not the others.
Me get what you say, me get what you try clear up.
That is what me want, No, because as I said, we don't know the law like that. So, teacher, if the police officer can prove that everyone in the building was abducted, they can only charge for the crime. He could be the one that hold up his hand to take the charge.
Okay.
But they're not charge him yet. Those were charges that were to be laid against him. So not like him put up him hand and take a charge, Invest. They never charge him yet, He was supposed to be charged after coming to Kingston. Or going to Kingston.
Oh, see, Corey is the
Corey is
person.
the dummy name for the 18-year-old guy that TVJ interview. I never watched the interview.
No, I didn't see it either. I saw clippings of it. Just the, what you call it, the thumbnail, just that picture there.
Yeah.
But I didn't
Oh, so Corey was that guy who did wrap up and go hide on that sheet. Okay, alright, so I know of him then. Okay.
Okay.
Alright. You know what? I probably don't need to try to wrap my head around this. I just probably need to share the info and move on because this is a lot of questions. No, the policewoman, along with Captain Morgan, they were believed to have been responsible for transporting the pastor from his Coral Gardens home to the church on the famous night. Both of them were reportedly dressed in their force-issued uniforms.
Okay.
I read an article that said the soldier, the captain, after I dropped them off, he left.
Oh, never
but
stay.
I don't. That is what the article said.
Okay.
See? So I don't know. It is reported that the Empress came out of the vehicle. She was in the passenger seat. Captain was driving. Pastor was in the back. When they got to the church, the Empress came out, opened the door, let out Pastor.
And leave.
No, the Empress was in church.
Stayed.
But I read an article that says Captain was not there. So I don't know. Because I did a video about that late last night. You understand? That video that I tell you something last night. So I don't know. Alright, so watch this. JDF has parted with Captain Morgan, who has been linked to the controversial Pathways long name place. Army spokesman Lieutenant Nathan Curtis says the Defense Board gave approval for Morgan to retire his commission in the force. The JDF captain, dressed in his force-issued uniform, had driven the controversial religious leader Kevin Smith from his Coral Gardens home to the Pathways Church on the night of the deadly ritual. A uniformed policewoman also traveled in the pastor's BMW X6. Apparently, the policewoman went to Montego Bay from the Friday evening. She stayed at his home.
Oh, okay.
That is what the video that I did last night, the report said. You understand? Discharge him, Morgan, man. Then, you understand? Dishonorable discharge, if you ask me. I say, teach them. There is more to this. Obviously, bro. Because it couldn't be just cut and dry like that. You understand? So, it have to be more to it.
A lot more, too.
Zine and thing. So, them something there. So, the public health inspectors were called because a lot of meat and something that was to go on the ark spoil and a lot of things and something, yeah. Apparently the church has been looted, means so the camera system gone, sound system gone, washing machine gone, deep freezer gone, so a whole heap of things gone. You understand? Know the captain from primary school days, same in school too. Are your friend Ryan? You see? So, a lot of questions, man. Pastor definitely smash her.
Okay. I don't know.
Judge, teach him. Lot of questions. I know some things. It is what it is. Be careful always because upper society will always win. The captain was told to resign. Hey, naturally. The military don't play them way there. Yeah, man, Shibani message, Kevin, man. Me look at it and think. What you think about the building, though?
The church?
Yes. Some people are saying
Who does
it
it
should
belong
be.
to?
The police said in a thing that anybody who has legal claims to it can something there. Can come forward and they will turn it over and it will, because the police said it is not their duty to, give me the word now, secure it. They have done their investigative work, they collect what them to collect and then finish with it. So whoever have claims to it can come forward.
Okay.
And think the animals, some of the animals are still there. Some of them were taken by an animal shelter type thingy, but they must then can't feed all of them. You understand? And they need help. Come read the article. There are so many articles. You see? So, I don't know. And thing. Right. So, some only political things. Like,
well, let us see if anybody come forward to claim the building.
Right. So, some people are saying that it should be burned down, it should be demolished. Why not, though, use it for some good?
You don't want to build in the building?
Me don't want it personally.
No, don't want if you do nothing.
But you clean it, you do with it and then use it for some form of upliftment and something.
Well, that's a suggestion.
Because I build already.
It exists already, yes?
So why destroy it then when they can't use it? Look how much homeless people there might be.
People say tainted.
What about things in this country tainted, sis? A lot of I said the place curse. Then they burn it.
I don't know.
I am thinking, mash it dog. It could be like I'm the only person where I sit aside there.
But say use it for something.
Use it for something.
Me not think me not want to go in it still.
You understand? Use it as an art training in agency.
Me not go under the art there. Me not go heavy art under the sun except that one. I told me and tell you I look for me for like a fussy asim.
Then I thought, no man, when you talk, I look for you, what you mean?
Me never not go under art there. Me never not go under one day.
Use it for some vocational training.
Me not do none of them vocation.
Alright, everybody has said about it dog. Everybody has
Say if
I am still standing on my views that it should be used for something positive and uplifting. The building is still there. So when you look it down now, where you get money from build back one day? Or that's just the Dead Sea, I'm over here.
But as they say, who does it belong to? Maybe your family member can come forward and claim it. But me don't want to go nothing of this.
I think more bodies in the buildings.
I think them would have searched already and searched the grounds.
Yeah, man, I think they do
Yeah,
that.
man.
Man. You never know, and bury them and then say, perfect funeral home. The ground's cursed. No curse by your ground, brother. Not a thing curse by your ground. Me see them build housing scheme
Burial. Burial stuff.
What kind of sitting cholera burial ground?
But all different burial ground they build housing scheme.
Yeah,
some schools that are built on burial ground.
No curse boys.
But we still don't want to go in that building.
So you not going there, but there are people who could benefit from.
You think people want to go?
What do you mean?
Find 10 money and you're then going.
Yeah, you see. But alright, but as me I said, me here, but I am standing firm on this one, saying that I think that building should be used for some form of good. Some upliftment, something. And I will stand by that. Everything you know want to light. You don't go light the rubbish them running back on the yard, man. Yeah, man, me read the WhatsApp them after I stream, bro. Because I'm not going to discuss this no more. I'm going to move on. Yeah,
teach them this building was built on somebody's property, so the government cannot claim.
No, I'm not saying the government should claim it. I didn't say the government would claim it. I'm just saying whosoever own the building, turn it over for something good, uplifting, not destroy it. So I don't know who own it. You understand what I say? And use it for police station. That's funny. That's actually funny. I think. But that is my views on the matter. We have a building already that can be used to do things. Look how much youth unattached. See, we couldn't get some skills training there and them something there. People
for a national gym. You can't use it for another church. You know,
use it for animal shelter. Well, again, as I said, my views.
Well, so finance, why are you and mash it down by controlled demolition?
And if I say why, I know it's a dynamite matter about some C4 business. Klansman trial. I not discuss Klansman trial, my friend. Klansman trial. I do videos about the court thing.
What a cook shop. Cook shop.
I don't want to food out there still. That me sure of. You understand? But you know, on a serious level, if them do that something in our thing we can benefit some you. You know, me willing to go teach some you something now and then. That big man thing. Yeah, man. We don't have them fear there. We don't live a life in them fear there. You understand? The person who contributed via stream elements just now, appreciated. Father Nigel, what kind of museum?
Big money to tour a lot of people. Gregory White.
Use for vlogging headquarters. No. I'm okay. My students okay. Yeah, but I think it should be used as a thing. But let's move.
People would pay to go and tour it, which way them? Because people want to see where all this, the phenomenon took place.
Teacher can use it as a teaching studio.
Now come.
Yeah. Prosecutors called the flip-floppers as ex-Patron duo face new charges.
What?
Prosecutors on Wednesday requested a continuance in the fraud matter involving former general manager at Patron, Floyd Grinley, and his former chairman, Dr. Percival Badu Singh, after revealing that new charges have been laid against the two accused. Grinley was facing 8 counts of aiding and abetting, obtaining money by means of false pretense, while Badu Singh was to answer to 12 charges related to US $73,620 that he too allegedly obtained under false pretense. The man said in trouble got some place for government business and in another country. And in collect fee plane ticket there. You know? Yeah, I don't even know what I want. Badu Singh is accused of submitting claims for overseas travel he never undertook. While you never used to follow Patron thing when me used to speak about it.
We never follow.
While Grinley is alleged to have aided and abetted the ex-chairman in the processing of fraudulent claims. When the matter was heard in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court, prosecutor Caroline East, and when Caroline come back, Caroline was DPP one at a time in her thing. And then she went to a small island to be chief prosecutor,
Mm-hmm.
and then me never know.
She come
I
back.
am almost sure that Caroline A was chief prosecutor at one point in time. Left go one small island, go be chief prosecutor. Me ain't know so she there again. Prosecutor Caroline Hay QC, who appeared on a Fiat, said the charges have been substituted. The new charges included fraudulent conversions, aiding and abetting and fraudulent conversion, conspiracy to defraud, and one count of obtaining money by a false pretense. Hay said the prosecution intends to seek new orders of indictment, but requested that the previous charges lie on file. A request was also made to complete disclosure by the end of February, but Parish Judge Maxine Ellis ordered that it be made on or before January 31st. So the matter was set for a trial between May 9 and May 20 and May 24 and 27. But attorney at law, representing Greenlee, KD Knight, QC, said the prosecution's intent to submit a fourth indictment next year was a clear sign of confusion. That is chaos, and chaos clearly born out of uncertainty and confusion. There are those who would properly describe the prosecution's case as being in disarray before it has commenced, KD Knight told the court. There are those who would say that the prosecution is flip-flopping because there is no proper place on which to perch. Knight said the prosecution has proven to be haphazard in its preparation for trial, but that no good synonym, insisting that the defense could not operate in like manner. The freedom of these two accused is in jeopardy. Don't jeopardize it any further by a continuation of this chaos, said Knight. Boy. Knight said the prosecution began its case with one set of charges, for which a draft indictment was sent to the defense. Mm-hmm. A second draft indictment was subsequently sent, the lawyer said, which was followed by a third on Tuesday. That's sloppy for true. But I guess when you find out things, I don't even know. The situation is that the charges are changed. The accused men were charged this morning separately, and so the original no longer exists. Yeah? There's a situation where they have not served all the documents on us that they are obliged to serve, he said. Now, attorney at law Bert Samuels, who is representing Badu Singh, made a request for an extension of bail, noting that the prosecution has preferred 3 indictments to date, with the intention of a fourth next year. He argued that they remain on bail given that there was no fixed indictment against which their status is attached. The two, who resides overseas, no doubt, were previously ordered bail in the amount of $2 million. In the meantime, Knight said the defense has been very confident from the beginning. Greenlee is also being represented by Bianca Samuels and Badu Singh by Matthew Ayat, Bianca sitting the daughter. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Nice young lady.
Also, Bert and him daughter represent one, and then Knight and Matthew represent some.
No, I know. Bertha represent one, the daughter represent the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But this don't look good.
For the get-go.
It don't look good. It don't look good. I mean, I understand, while KD talk, you have to laugh, It's a face umbre, but I understand exactly what he's saying. It don't look good.
In a start off, when say them now have a firm place to perch.
Teach it could be used for a zoo. What happened to all the animals that were in the ark? Some of them are roamed the compound and some of them has been collected by animal rescue shelters. You understand? But you don't use a building as a zoo. You use an area for a zoo. So I don't know. I don't know if you land it, Use the city for something good, man. One art training institute and then sitting there. Backside. Everything we just want bun. Fire this fire. Wanna go on, man? Ruel, Reid, wiggle. Giga.
Excuse me, after class a minute, please. May I hold up my finger for your excuse me. May I go run a back?
Government MP circle wagons as opposition questions pay the former Education Minister. Government members of Parliament close ranks to prevent Education Minister Favour Williams from giving definitive answers to whether disgraced former education minister and principal of Jamaica College, Ruel Reid, will be allowed to continue on paid special leave when his current leave period expires on November 20 this year. Ask me what I think that could happen. He might get it. But they tell if you ask me.
Let me not ask you, I know the answer.
The questions were brought to the House of Representatives by St. Andrew Southeastern MP Julian Robinson a month ago. Williams insisted that the board of Jamaica College had not made a recommendation regarding Reid's leave, but she did not make clear if such an application would be granted. The government has been paying out over 11 million gross in salaries and benefits to Ruel. This is one thing I want to clear. Many people think that Ruel is making $11 million per year. That is not the case. He's making $5.5 million per year, and so is the acting principal. So in all, both of them, but many people are saying that Ruel get 11 per year. That is not the reality. See? I think I should clear that up. In gross salaries and benefits to Reid and acting principal of JC, Wayne Robinson's combined, inclusive of motor vehicle upkeep, $74,577 each, and housing allowance. Say I get $74,500 each month for vehicle upkeep.
That's Florida.
Enough people. But we're not done yet. $35,481 each for housing allowance.
No, there's no way they don't give housing allowance. All principals get housing allowance.
Yeah, ask me, I tell me.
Yeah, ask
I'm not sure. But the principal of JC have one house and
supposed to
JC
have a
cottage.
cottage.
So I wonder if that I feel like to take care of property and then sit there.
What make we fear?
In March of 2019, the board of JC recommended and received approval from the ministry, special leave with full salary for the embattled principal from March 8 to 24th. Earned vacation leave with full salary from March 25th to November 2019. And special leave with full salary from November 21st, 2019 to November 20, 2021. Oh, so November 20, 2021, the thing are done. Okay. Reid remains before the court, having been arrested in October 2019 on charges of defrauding the Ministry of Education and the Caribbean Maritime University of millions of dollars. He was expelled from the Andrew Holness cabinet in March 2019. The JC board has released him on secondment in March 2016 to serve as minister for an initial period of 2 years. Asked whether Reid would be allowed to continue on paid leave indefinitely, Williams, in monotones, reportedly quoted the 1960. Hold on. That is what next we need to talk about.
1960.
The Education Act and the Education Regulation is 1965 and 1980 originally. Think about that. The laws which regulates education in Jamaica, the Act, Education Act, was written in 1965. The Education Regulations was written before me born, 1980. I'm a old man, you know. Chase part of the dilemma we are facing on this. It is not just one legislature, judiciary, everything is a mess, brother.
1965.
1965. 3 years after independence.
And no.
So we could continue. The minister was directed by Deputy House Speaker Juliet Holness not to respond to questions.
MP.
You hear that?
Also, Fitz was asking questions too.
The minister was directed by Deputy Speaker Juliet Holness not to respond to questions from MP from St. Catherine South, Fitz Jackson, and others as to whether her ministry would approve more paid leave for Reid. if the JC board makes an application. I doubt JC will do that though, you know. A ministry have to go make a decision and them will grant it. JC not ask no more.
Them a try wiggle. Them a
Yeah,
try.
when you know, Ruel Reid wiggle
Them
in
a
here,
try
man.
wiggle, man. For true. Them a try wiggle, then look away.
So I go continue. This after Justice Minister Delroy Chuck insisted that the questions were speculative and misleading. I don't want to hear nothing from Delroy Chuck. Because when them did arrest Reid and that man, him claim say, you shouldn't arrest them like that. And all man are evil, brother. And they should have been given this and given that like them on a regular Jamaicans. So him can chat to me about Ruel Reid, you know, that I first, you know. As a matter of fact, Delroy Chuck go up and listen. It's as simple as that, you know. Me not up in that. Look here. This after Justice Minister Delroy Chuck insisted that the questions were speculative and misleading. How? And all you ask if taxpayers will continue to pay this man full salary based on the situation.
A simple question.
Delroy Chuck for go.
Is a yes or no question?
That me think.
You see that yes we are going to pay him or no we not pay.
And were in breach of the House standing orders. Always some technicalities. He insisted that the speaker should direct the minister not to respond. The opposition member persisted. Jackson criticized the justification for continuing to keep Reid on paid leave, given that his post was essentially being filled by Robinson, who is performing the full duties as principal. St. Anne Southeastern MP Lisa Ann pointed to situations in which police officers are interdicted and sent on unpaid leave, while matters they were involved in are investigated.
True.
But Williams told the House that such matters are not provided for in the laws governing the education sector.
That is the problem.
In the Act, the 1965 Act, and in the regulations, the 1980 regulations, there is not the concept of interdiction as you would find it in the public service. But education is public service.
But sir, there would have been so much.
She said, reading from the regulations in response to a volley of questions from members of the opposition who demanded to know if there is a cutoff time for unpaid leave for teachers in the public sector, a teacher in a public educational institution may be allowed special leave with or without pay, as the minister may approve on the recommendation of the board to enable the teacher to be absent for such other reasons as the minister may approve, she quoted. Williams pointed out that boards, and listen to this and look what she do here, so. Williams pointed out that boards are vested with the power to appoint, terminate, promote, and suspend from duty members of staff of public education institution. So what is she doing?
Say you up to the board.
She also did not explain what the guiding principles are for any decisions to allow Reid to continue on paid special leave after November 20, 2021. So, them basically
Nobody don't want to call it.
Nobody don't want to call it.
Nobody don't want to call it. That it come down to. Nobody don't want to make a decision. Nobody don't want to be the one to come out and say, all right, this is what it is. Nobody. Everybody are trying to hide behind the next person.
Man, they were sabbatical. The Board of Governors of Jamaica College today, I think, held a crucial meeting to deliberate on recommendations submitted by the Ministry of Education on how to deal with the controversial issue of extending special leave with full salary and benefits to Ruel Reid, who still holds, how can this one man be so powerful?
I don't know.
How is everybody afraid
No, come here, sir. Say me no know. I'm thinking, come here.
to cut ties with Ruel Reid? What sort of secret does Ruel Reid have for those in power?
You don't go on a purchase it. Good school, you know.
by the Ministry of Education on how to deal with controversial issue of extending special leave with full salary and benefits to Ruel Reid, who still holds the post of principal at Jamaica College. And why the students are JC are going to curb down. Like, what sort of power them having on this? Yeah. They don't make these decisions at JC. The board does. You understand?
And school still are going. School are run.
This was disclosed by chairman of the JC board, Michael Bernard, in an interview on Wednesday evening. Reid, who is before the court, I don't know one of them something there. Some Minister of Education, Favour Williams, indicated in Parliament on Wednesday that it was the board of the Old Hope Road institution that had the authority to determine the fate of Reid as principal based on the education regulation.
Mm-hmm. See if the board that take place, she said.
It is not cut and dry. The board can't. On what grounds would the board fire him?
But
he did nothing at the school.
He did nothing to the
school. He
school.
not do nothing at the school. Mm-hmm. It was at the Ministry of Education.
He did nothing.
So how is JC now going to take a decision based on what happened at the ministry? They cannot.
They can't.
Yo!
Sir, them out there go play dilly-dally until he get it for 10 years. Just go and dilly-dally it out. What that a go on?
The Minister of Education was very disingenuous because she knows
what would he do
that JC does not have any grounds
to get rid of him.
To separate themselves from Ruel Reid. There's no legal grounds. All that happened was at the Ministry of Education.
So there so the decision to come down.
DeAndre, you know, listen, you know. You don't listen sometimes, bro. You don't listen. So them can terminate him up at JC.
On
what grounds?
Samba, you're so right.
And then run up in a one fat lawsuit.
Samba, you're right.
Wrong dismissal.
I agree with Samba.
So I could continue read. So Minister of Education, Favour Williams, may I read that again because that's important, indicated in Parliament on Wednesday that it would be the board of the Old Hope Road institution that had the authority to determine the fate of Reid as principal based on the education regulations. Bernard told reporters that Reid wrote to the board on August 2 this year requesting an extension to his special leave. According to Bernard, on August 5, the board forwarded the request to the Education Ministry. Having forwarded that request to the Ministry of Education for guidance with respect to how to treat with it, we just heard from the ministry a couple days ago. And the board would be considering the response at this meeting. Yesterday, at Thursday, the meeting go on. Zin, I don't hear what come out of it yet. Or the article you sent me. That come out of it. He made it clear that the ministry gave a response as to how to handle the matter concerning Reid a couple of days ago, and that the board would be considering that proposal. Yes, DeAndre, but in our work, so brother, I don't know how much experience you have with the education sector, but it doesn't work like that, my friend. I can assure you of that. It doesn't work like that. You understand? I have seen many teachers get back their job and get them pay what them never did get because of wrongful dismissal. Many teachers. It don't work so. Let me continue. Shall we there? Bernard declined to comment on the ministry's advice, noting that the board had not yet reviewed the recommendation. I would love to hear those recommendations.
Me too.
The chairman said that after the board makes a decision, it would be sent to the ministry and the next step would be determined from there on. Now, prior to the 2-year special leave with full pay and benefits, Reid had exhausted, earned vacation leave for the period March 2019 to November 2019. However, over the similar period, the ministry had also paid acting principal Reid Robinson a little more than $11 million. In fact, Robinson has been acting in the position of principal from 2016 when Reid was seconded for his job as educator. From his job as educator to take up the appointment of Minister of Education. He resigned in March 2019 and made all of them something there. Noting that Robinson had been serving as acting principal for the past 5.5 years, the JC Bernard said he was paid a salary for the excellent service he rendered. As far as Jamaica College and stakeholders are concerned, we wish to see Mr. Wayne Robinson installed permanently in the position in which he has been serving most admirably in the last 5.5 years.
Bernard, you not hide your hand.
As it relates to Mr. Reid, that is a matter really for the Ministry of Education. And I would say the government of Jamaica. When reporters indicated to Bernard that Williams had placed the ball squarely in the board's park in making a decision, the JC chairman said, if that is the way you will see it, then the school is going to be playing with that ball in the way that it sees it is its best interest. He conceded that the education regulation gives certain powers to the board, but contended that it is the ministry that has responsibility to approve such decision. Because the board can make a decision, but the ministry have to approve it. The board cannot fire Reid, so to speak. DeAndre, I hope you're listening. The board cannot fire Mr. Reid, so to speak, without that being approved, for example, by the Ministry of Education. And no board, with its understanding of the education regulation, can fire a principal without cause. He said the board would issue a full statement to the public next week. I am looking forward. I wonder if that statement today. Bernard said that the board could not sack Reid without first taking him through a disciplinary process and finding him guilty. He said the evidence to bring a case against him has to be sought and it was not available to the board. Williams confirmed during Wednesday question and answer session in Parliament that Reid had requested an extension to his special leave. You understand? Boom, 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 show them now. Bam, 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 bam. Alright. So let me find something else. Let me read something else before I go on. I'm going to struggle for reading for this, you know. Strategy. Are you should I read, you know?
Me, I want blind.
Now you sending come give me? Alright, let me see. This is very fine, guys. So take a look time with me. So watch I know. So Jamaica College Board details engagement with Education Ministry regarding Reid. Jamaica, chairman of the board of management of the Jamaica College, Michael Bernard, has disclosed details of their engagements with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information, as well as the decision taken by the board on Thursday evening. Yeah? Mr. Bernard noted that this must be a difficult issue for the ministry, but he wanted to clarify the position of the board.
Like Bernard.
He said that having received the request for a special leave from Mr. Reid on August 2, the board on August 5 sent it to the ministry for guidance. Since that date, numerous discussions have been held with the minister and the ministry by representatives of the board with the support of JC stakeholders regarding Mr. Reid's status and the enablement of the creation of a vacancy for the position of principal at the school. We were advised by Minister Williams that she was working on a proposal to facilitate same and instructed that a team be put together with a view of producing a proposal which she could take to cabinet. The ministry further advised that legal advice had been sought from the Attorney General in relation to the proposal, as meeting the stakeholders was planned for October 7th, and the minister was advised of such. After consultation with the minister, the permanent secretary, good girl Grace, the permanent secretary asked on the minister's behalf for the meeting to be postponed. Interesting. To give time for the proposal to be completed and taken to cabinet the following Tuesday. The meeting was postponed and the minister advised of same on October 4th. Based on legal advice, attorney at law Derek Jones as chairman of Jamaica College Trust, wrote to the ministry on October 22nd asking for a meeting to discuss the situation. JC is trying to resolve the situation, you know. At 10:25 p.m. on October 25th, 2021, he received a letter from the minister telling them that the Jamaica College Board has the power to act on matters relating to staff tenure as per the education regulations of 1980, and that the ministry expect that in your actions you will be guided accordingly. We found this response from the minister after almost 3 months of discussions to be shocking, to say the least, said Mr. Bernard. Further, a review of the regulations revealed that the board does not have the power. I'm reading this for DeAndre, my little brother. Further, a review of the regulations revealed that the board does not have the power to dismiss Mr. Reid, as no complaint was made while he was performing his role as principal at Jamaica College. Any case for a complaint during Mr. Reid's tenure as minister might be known to the current minister and others, but without that evidence formally submitted as a complaint, the board is unable to take action with respect to terminating his tenure at Jamaica College. The board met until late last night and unanimously approved a letter to the minister which went to her at 11 p.m. via email. Then couldn't see me. Teach them 16 at Gmail. That me I'm telling you. The board and the Jamaica College community anxiously await the minister's decision so that they may proceed to permanently appoint a principal to continue to manage the institution and guide the development of the school students. Given that the board does not want to be forced into a position to either approve the special leave or alternatively allow Mr. Reid to resume, the board approved 3 recommendations which were sent to the minister last night and requested the minister to respond by November 10 in advance of the November 2021 expiration of Mr. Reid's current special leave. The board is united on this. Ask the question.
I was before you reached down to it that they made 3 recommendations. So what if the minister don't take any of the 3? It's either they'll be forced to extend
or
the leave. No, extend the leave or tell him to come back.
As principal.
Yes. Is either tell him to leave or come back as principal. No, fire 9
them said that to true in an
that fire 9 is either extend the leave or come back as principal.
Yes, somebody board want to get rid of him for true. But
this is what Mr. Bernard saying that Mr. Bernard allowed the acting principal.
Robinson.
But he said make 3 recommendations.
How again? Ask me who forget blame. Ask me who forget blame.
You know who you're gonna say.
Who me I say?
We do. Who forget
the
blame?
Prime Minister Andrew Michael Wallace. Ask me why.
Did I ask you why again? Can't be what you gonna tell me.
Just ask me why, man. Why? Because I grant Ruel special leave for 2 years with full pay. When the same Act and Code of Regulation say the special leave can be with or without pay, he decided to give his friend leave with pay. Argument done.
But me want to hear, because I really want to hear because the board sound united.
But the board has been striding from the get-go. Remember say man go up there and come back for your job, you know?
They say no.
And they say no, you know?
The board sound united, teacher, right? They must say, you get a chance to get to there. Me not jumping kids, so
because somebody made mention of students, you know. In truth, the student council, the PTA, the board, and the administration were united when him go back up there, say he want back in job.
They're united.
Everybody saying enough to come back.
Oh.
So the student council had said that
student
before.
council
But to say the students them not say nothing. In truth is the students saying anything don't change the price of rice.
One person represent the student.
Yeah, understand? And I did right. You see?
One person represent the PTA. One person I think represent admin and academic.
Yeah. And the student.
So they have their vote, but then say them present 3 options to the honorable minister.
You know some people who then just lap them tail and go in one
I'm
corner
man, go relax yourself.
and come out of the limelight.
But say, maybe even if him did ask for it without pay, he would not rub me so. I would not feel no way about it. Without pay, he would not bother me so much. But 5 more years with full pay? No, I think that
Unconscionable, man, say a word.
No.
No
5
conscience.
more full year? With, I even say, alright, if 5 years, give me pay fee first 2 and then afterwards.
A be a couple in their conscience and in spite of them when they're dead.
Full pay for 5 more years. So we have to pay him for 5 more years.
And pay Robbins
Mr.
for 5
Robbins,
more
who
years.
is doing the excellent job as Mr. Bernard said. For 5 more years.
You know me hate that.
Oh, if only Kevin did right when he said we need to go up on here because something will come. And this don't make no sense, sir. You have an education act from 1965 and regulations from 1980. And no look up.
And them sitting in a parliament every day across them one another.
Who a man kaka who never win one case yet. You see the article?
So my sitting a lawyer, so Hilton
What?
I don't remember what I said.
See that the liar? Can never win no case yet.
I see it somewhere, but I never waste my time and read that. But I see headline somewhere.
I don't know, Sir Williams. It is what it is at this moment. I don't know. Because you hear the board say they expect a response by the 10th.
That 10 days before that I got take 1-2 weeks so ministry operate.
No response could not come.
But remember say ministry send it to ministry from the 5th after they get to the 2nd, you know. And at 3 days ago ministry respond to them, you know. At 3 weeks plus, you know. Yes,
I think it's time just have a jaw out, Penny. And it have a... But the thing is that the board now playing.
No man, they don't want to roll up there.
They
don't know secret that. They don't want him up there.
The board not seem to be playing.
The only person who want to roll up at JC is Ruel.
The board, and teacher, why would I want to go back? Why would I want to go back?
Imagine you, I got set up in front of the youths, them, the future leaders of the country, with the baggage hanging over your head. How you are come talk to me as principal, say young men do this and do that.
But who do I go back?
How you go stand up in front of the in a staff meeting and talk to me as a teacher at JC? Yikes! How do you speak to these young men?
And he wouldn't.
How do you speak to me as a teacher?
Kind of very dry eye. No, but the board, as I said, the one good thing is that the board seem to be standing their ground. But hold on. Because at the end of the day, you know, I still up top call the shots, you know.
We will hire Ruel. We have party shop experience. Alright, mother's party, that's your word. Boy, you need to hire all politicians then, brother. Because party shop business then.
I believe I'm more party shopping off your own.
That me I tell you. This just rubbed me some way where wrong, brother. Me I tell you the truth where God love, man. Like, me I stop talking about it because right you know.
You're getting upset.
It just cross get my spirit cross, brother.
So
Big man thing.
So don't allow it to
yeah, son. Cockpit Country stakeholders reject NEPA's mining permit assessment. As they should.
Right.
Members of the Cockpit Country stakeholders group have flatly rejected the final environmental impact assessment EIA conducted to allow mining in the historic section of Jamaica. Mining in the Cockpit Country has been a bone of contention for the residents of the area. The government agency responsible for issuing mining permit, the National Environmental and Planning Agency, and environmentalists who are vehemently against bauxite mining within the boundaries of the heritage site. We are at a loss to understand how this substandard document could have been accepted by the state agency with responsibility for public health and the environment, the group stated in a release. We understand that deliberations on the granting of an environmental permit to allow bauxite mining adjacent to the Cockpit Country proposed protected area are imminent. So we do not have the luxury of conducting a line-by-line examination. But the matter is of great importance as the area of special mining lease SML 173 is within the boundary proposed by the Cockpit Country stakeholders group and supported by the review done by the University of the West Indies in 2013. The group said they reviewed submissions made by a range of stakeholders to NEPA in 2020, including local residents, other interested Jamaicans, academia, experts in karst topography, hydrology, and biodiversity, and found virtually no effort to address these serious deficiencies in the EIA report. The report is available on NEPA website. Remind me to download that. I need to read it. One of the most significant issues which remains unaddressed is the question of the risk posed by bauxite mining in the area by special mining lease, delineated by special mining lease, that's on wrong. 173 to underground water supplies in the watershed protection area of a major river, the Rio Bueno, the group stated. Delineated. I think that's how it's pronounced. Their claim is that the earlier version of the EIA, there was a map showing the underground flow from Cave River sinkhole and the volcano to the Dornoch Head rising, established by dye tracing studies, which has been removed from the final version and replaced with a map of fault lines with none of the proven underground flows. Lines indicated. Okay, you know when they want to find how a river flow, they use dye tracing. So
anyway,
you die
it
because you know
surface
that
back, you know,
say
that come from this.
So then dash that.
Just like that?
We cannot understand why this was done. Is the public to assume, therefore, that since no other observable changes were made to the EIA apart from those listed in the Corrigenda EIA report, Corrigenda, that's funny, that these are the only concerns that were submitted to the EIA consultants, or were they the only comments that NEPA found to be worthwhile? The document now on NEPA's website headed Final EIA does not seem to mention, may I forget read it? The public consultation held in December 2020 or the outcry which followed. The final EIA also mentions 4 volumes, but only volume 1 has been posted. So 2, 3, 4 there. They must wash it with the dye tracing. The Cockpit Country is the largest remaining natural forest in Jamaica. It supplies about 40% of Jamaica's freshwater needs and is home to many endemic plants and animals. It is also an important cultural and historical site for Jamaicans, particularly the Maroons, and is important for climate resilience. Bauxite mining in the Cockpit Country will remove the deep soil for which forests and agricultural livelihoods depend. Compromise air quality, harm the health and well-being of thousands of Jamaican citizens, and risk important water resources. The group also contended.
But why would...
Alright, now say that thing. Mr. Dixon, my birthday. Mr. Dixon head steer, Southern Trelawney Environmental Association. You see, down at Discovery Bay, the bluff there where they do a mine out, the people then carry their coal.
Okay.
Down at Cockpit Country, them a drag them foot too long. The matter should have been brought before the courts. Long ago in Bethlehem. You know what happened? When them decide to go to court, it got too late.
It is too late, because if already them have said the EIA come out and such a valid part of it remove.
Every time I talk to my friend, Mr. Dixon, I say, Mr. Dixon, I don't hear nothing about no court action. If the Supreme Court don't provide an injunction against this thing, chapter compound or doorstep, and I ask him every time I see him, every time I talk to him. You go as a watcher now too. I mean, in wife probably I watch.
Because she was on the other night.
So, until they show that they are really serious.
Man, they remove one whole section. So.
You see, don't so? Them have a top.
No, I know that they are taking them to court for some.
You understand? You see how quick discovery people then come together?
And court settings quick
And the
fast.
Cockpit Country thing existed long before the discovery
Discovery
situation.
Mm-hmm.
So until the Cockpit Country stakeholders group come together,
Sir,
find the money, some GoFundMe campaign, some interested people donate, I am willing to donate to that cause. No questions asked. And done. Ready. Zin? Can't go court. This talking can only go so far.
Yeah, and
So you can't talk when tractor push down your house or push down your tree them by your property. This whole thing about maroons are going to rise up and thing is crap.
I wish my
Crap.
the only way I carry them go to court and get you over and done it. Just like everybody else we carry them go, carry them too.
You understand? I call Sir Dixon tomorrow still. Ask him when I go on in a dance. Because I said, this is not safe. See him? Ah, boy. Shab done for court today. Today I'm supposed to go to court.
How many clock reach this?
Should have gotten injunction until the determination of the hearing. Mr. Dixon get to work. The thing is not DNJ. While I did me there pressure Mr. Dixon. A whole heap of people involved because it's a big area, a whole heap of people. Yeah? And I like Discovery Bay were kind of more close-knitted. You understand what I say? So, I know political divisions and this and that and that and whatnot and this and that. But I'm going to tell him so them need to start. But him know it, you know. I don't know. The last time I spoke to him said, teach. I said, you don't have money for get lawyer? Yes. Why you not get a lawyer? X, Y, Z. You don't go to court, Mr. Dixon. Teach. I said, brother, the same government control the courts. You'll be surprised.
No, but other persons would have taken them
Many
for
times.
environmental issues.
But forget about environmentalists. Look how much people win civil suits against the government. They have to pay millions of dollars.
Yeah, then I said earlier on in the stream we spoke of that.
You see me? So, even the public defender, they join with the Discovery Bay people, them, because apparently them realize them serious. Enigmatic dancehall producer Shab was scheduled to appear in the gun court jurisdiction of the Home Circuit Court in downtown Kingston today, Friday. The 31-year-old, who is in police custody since October 14, is to face charges of illegal possession of firearm and ammunition. He's being represented by attorney at law Donahue Martin. Martin declined to give any comment about Friday's in-camera session in the gun court. Shabdan, whose given name is Linval Thompson Jr., a name that sound familiar to you?
Yeah.
Linval Thompson?
Yeah.
Big bad entertainer about the place.
Oh, okay.
One of the men we need to interview.
Okay. Come and say the name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, son. But as I said that, remember the youth.
You should.
Big youth.
It's
one of two men arrested on South Street in Old Harbour, St. Catherine, held in connection with a gun and ammunition fine. The other person is producer Romaro Scott, OC BMR, of an Old Harbour address. Now, according to police reports, members of the Specialized Operations SWAT team searched two producers and found a loaded illegal gun. Both men were subsequently charged with illegal possession of firearm and illegal possession of ammunition. Scott, 22, is represented by high-profile attorney at law Tom Tavares Finson, QC. Yeah. Now, son of singer Linval Thompson, Shabdan, who always dons a mask, is principal of Shabdan Records. He has been making a name for himself in musical circles. And then something there, long story short. See, work with all the big name them in a dance hall and then Auntie. 83 more days behind bars for Jacure. Reggae star Jacure will be detained for another 83 days in a Dutch cell before he will be summoned to appear at an Amsterdam court in open session to answer charges related to an alleged stabbing incident in the Netherlands. You know, they don't have plea deal in the Netherlands, right? Is he there guilty or you're not guilty? So like Jamaica, where He can plead guilty and get reduced sentence.
Yeah, so I say if he found guilty, he will have to spend the full time.
Right.
Ouch.
On Monday, the council chamber of the Amsterdam Circuit Court extended the pre-trial detention for the unconditional love singer until the middle of January 2022. The total period of pre-trial arrests cannot exceed 111 days, 110 days, okay? 6 days in police custody, 14 days in detention, and 90 days on remand. Detailing.
Yes, sir.
Court proceedings must begin within this period. At the beginning of January 2022, the suspect will be summoned to appear at the Amsterdam court in an open session, said Franklin Watimina, press officer of the Netherlands Public Prosecution Service. Once he is summoned in an open session, members of the public will be able to attend, and journalists are also able to follow and report on the proceedings. The 43-year-old man is suspected of attempted murder, attempted manslaughter, aggravated assault, and attempted aggravated assault. He is a public defender.
How come?
Yeah, one nice same thing too.
Public. I don't want a public defender.
Want a liar.
Yeah, best.
Real liar, best liar in the Netherlands.
And that me not. Excuse me.
And I can't foresee that it is because of
Financial
constraints.
Some of know.
I found that to be very surprising.
Very unusual.
Okay, in a situation like that, I have the money. I go to, man, like me there at Jamaica and sit and go around, a champagne in me alley, if me have the money. You understand what I'm saying? So there must be a champagne in Alan.
Mm-hmm. Which you go on your bed?
He, as a public defender, we don't give his name until the first public hearing, the spokesperson said.
That don't look good. I don't like all that so. Why would he have a public defender?
That is like a legal aid.
I wonder that, but then no, you know, we're just thinking on my mind. Wonder in our minds,
Our
we're
public
thinking
defender, like
it's
when we
just
have our
that
public
them call.
defender.
Because in our mind, just click and say maybe
So it
we
can't,
are like
probably we are set
like
a light into a legal aid. So
but
probably
maybe
just
not
have
that.
a regular solicitor.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's just the term for a regular lawyer.
Never see it coming. Next thing you know, guilty treatment. Stop laughing.
Oh, we are going to do stop do that. Use the curious like that.
The thing not look good though.
So, and you say no plea deal.
No plea deal no down there. Let me tell you. Teach them, say there must be a champagne in Alan. You have a champagne in every country, man.
Country have one. The go-to person.
Go-to, man. Sir, no plea deals. I know I read it somewhere.
Which lie is it? And that it's seen for 2 days. And it's very expensive.
Alright. No plea deal for a Jacure Netherlands stabbing case. So there will be no plea deals for reggae singer Jacure as he faces a Dutch court to answer to charges in relation to situation. In Dutch law, we don't have such a thing like a plea deal. Once a criminal investigation is complete, the public prosecutor must decide whether to proceed to a full prosecution and trial. You understand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. You need freedom. Mm-hmm. No plea deal. Oh, please, my cause, oh, Jah. And let me stand, June X. Let me stand for.
No look good, teacher.
No look good.
You see maximum you can serve it if I get it?
No. You see it?
Eh?
I'm going to research that. But I love it. As much as Cure misguided and
Mistake.
and do all heap of crap, I don't wish that for no man, brother. Me not tell you a lie.
That looks-
Worse, and even your yard. Where you can see some familiar faces.
We can get a one check and, you know, look away.
For man, you know. The Netherlands, you know. You what kind of land? The Netherlands, you know.
Alright, and around the corner then, you say.
Jaja. Me not love you still. Me not lie to you.
And I face the full blunt of the Lord. That it seems like this.
And with Cure, you try to talk to him, you know. But that's all this year.
You want to teach you?
I mean, they're real still can reason with the Cure, you know. Man to man, you know. Brother to brother, you know. Don't me not know a brother like that, you know. But just observing him, me then sit down and reason with the Cure and know. Say, brother, you what go on, man.
You know, the pan of
Cut out certain things, man. The part is a
Straight
slippery
up.
slope, man. You need to sort out the thing and low certain things.
Straight
brother.
up.
Big man thing. You see? An article said 25 years.
Wow. Enough years that, you know?
What do you mean if I don't feel that? You know how long you live before you turn 25?
25 years.
25 years. Boy, Little Melody is a talented youth, but I don't know where to start. And as I said, I don't know the circumstances surrounding thing either, you know. Was he placed in a position where he defend himself?
Safe
I don't know
harbor.
either.
But
See, but me I say it does not look safe.
So, yeah, you look so prosperous. Yeah, we have to wait and see. And
I wish me to get a chance to interview Jackie before and go Alan. Big man thing. Because me I tell you off camera, me then reason with him and say, brother, here we go on. He won't have to go run me way. But at least me then know some
you
try.
do it.
You see me? Peeps, big up on yourself, you know. I call it a night.
I should go to the man.
Yeah, cause I interview run on one part, run on one place tomorrow and I have to go wake up early like Ganesh in there.
It's a nice country.
I have been to Netherlands 2014. It's a nice country. I even find a girl there. You see it? Several cartel, Ninja, Blood, and Tamil, you could aspire. At least you may have company for you, Craig. And a serious note, you know. How much land did get? About 2 years?
2, I think.
I think about 2. I don't remember.
If memory serves me right.
But Laden pleaded guilty to, you know, Miller. So I think his sentence would have been reduced. But peace, big up on yourself. Appreciate the support. You understand? Sooner again, Sunday,
I'll be well.
I've been well. But definitely I'll see you on Tuesday for our interview premiere.
Oh.
And thing. The interview there's a, you know what I mean? Next level business. The man when you say baby father, man.
Oh. Oh.
Hey, but we don't let them eat body.
Good interview.
From Tuesday, me I stress them.
Good interview. Good interview. Lovely interview.
Auntie. Peep, soon, maybe Sunday, but definitely Tuesday. November 8th,
How in that?
the day after the 7th.
You chat too much.
That's
So
about
Monday.
next week, Monday. Week after next
Week
Monday.
after next.
Think we do a call-in stream. And I'm my birthday that, so that's probably all the vibes and
Be busy
we
that
talk about it. You can't always busy. Then you know, do your thing, man.
plans for that day.
Yeah, man, do your thing, man. Sit you on 9 day, me and stream my 9. So make sure your plan drop up by 6.
Same thing.
Yeah, understand?
Skating.
Auntie.
Joe.
Big up to all of the people them who are celebrate birthday that weekend, and then something like Scotty baby father. I saw she call the artist still, so I couldn't get involved in that, brother.
It's one of my favorite artists.
So,
And I only have like 3.
like 3. So,
Yeah.
Shango and Berries.
Yeah.
And then.
And that. Yeah.
Okay.
You want some taste of them 3 then?
Full of baby father, though.
Yeah, if you have enough now. Not these days.
Enjoy your weekend. Friday is my daughter's. Alright, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Next Friday. I guess we can remember the poet speaks.
Why your birthday have to come on a Monday, though?
We can come on Sunday last year.
Shut up. Shut right up.
What kind of question?
Shut up right up.
How you get your birthday come on this year?
I don't. My birthday has come and gone.
Which day come on?
No.
Any day company, this day to company, next day, next day.
Whatever you want.
Fool like. Oh, my birthday
Your birthday should have been on Friday.
Since me asked you my birthday come on Friday, I think the Friday at the time when they kept me acknowledged at the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah, man. I think that was a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
Yeah, you're correct.
And then Saturday, the last time was the Sunday.
The Sunday was a good one. Because it was a Sunday.
Rainfall the weekend, my brother.
Day, sir.
I wonder if I bless you now, if I wash me.
Teacher, when we go
I
buy
must say,
fish,
come
then
on,
we
y'all
nearly
come cook,
wash me. When they give me a buy fish, I say, you know what I said that boy, they nearly wash me, sir.
I will by rainfall, man. Remember say all the roof, them, the deck roof, then start leak, man, and then sit there.
Rain tear the whole day the sun.
Yeah, man, enough. I mean, the rain a fall for me in a week, brother.
Whole day. Me tell you, say, we nearly wash you.
That time the roof a flake off, you know what I mean?
Flake off, yeah.
Fly up in my nose.
Me say nearly wash you with the fish there, man.
That was a rough birthday.
I did whole heap of rain.
I spent my day at sweep roof. Out of the house.
Sweep the roof off of your girl.
Off of it, girl.
That you did not true.
Brother.
You didn't have to cover up because you know
Everything.
something because you did not behave bad for you. That's true.
Pick up on yourself, say,
This year won't be like that.
No. I doubt it
This
highly.
year won't be like that. We're going to have a good one.
We're going to So, I think we had to do a call-in tune on that there.
I don't want to fish though.
Drink some things and
I not
eat
drink nothing.
some things and then sit there.
One jerk.
One jerk. Jerk what? One jerk man there watch you and named Nelson. Run our back at body's jerk port man in our world. But I watch it. Probably when we go that side there. Auntie. Natty P the General. Which question that, bro?
What month? No, November.
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 Eh. Once a rainfall upon everybody was stopped November last year, man.
Month? October to November last year is a portion of rainfall.
I remember say we have a couple system pass through, came
yes,
close by and then sitting a couple traps.
Teacher, remember say, we go so one weekend and couldn't come back up because we get trapped.
But
Yeah. When we look through your window, man, the amount of water we out there, we couldn't push out. We
Yeah.
have to stay in.
so we give thanks still.
Mm-hmm.
I rain the wash out some crosses out of my life.
No dance.
Peace.
Good night,
Good night.
guys.
Big up on yourself. See you soon.
Birthday
Enjoy your weekend. Eh?
No dear, see for
Birthday and
ask
accent.
and he
No,
no,
brother. About Andrew, which question you ask for? Brother, I can't answer every question. If you ask something specific, then I just probably miss it. You see, Auntie?
Alright, guys, have a good one. I have an early morning.
You're there. I have
It's
some
going to be a
work to
long
do.
day.
And then sitting there. So, me soon.
Yep.
Heart of love. Walk good. Step with Jah. Safe travel upon the gravel. JC Board says Education Minister has three options in Ruel Reid case. We're gone.
Good night, guys.
Thank you for tuning in. Like the stream before you go. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Remember to share the stream with your family and friends and browse the channel for more amazing content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's Teach Them, right here. Warlord representing.